Dubious, the Loan Shark Duet, Book 1. Written by Charmaine Pauls. Narrated by Adara Stevens and Lee Turner Smith. An Audio Shelf production. Chapter 1. I never take the yellow glow of a light bulb or the blue staccato flicker of the television screen for granted. Looking for signs of life is an ingrained habit for people like me, people who live in fear. Already from the corner, I strain my neck to look at our floor. Then I stop dead. The rectangle of our window stares down at me. Black. Dark. Oh my God. Charlie. My palms turn clammy. I wipe them on my tunic and sprint up the remaining stairs to the second floor, almost tripping on the last step. A jerk on the handle confirms the door is locked. Thank God. Someone didn't break in, attack Charlie, and leave him for dead. I drop my keys twice before I fit them in the lock. From inside, Puff starts barking. The damn lock mechanism resists. One of these days, the flimsy nickel is going to break off in the door. I force until the key turns. In my rush to get inside, I stumble over Puff, who runs out to greet me. He scurries away with a yelp and his tail between his legs. The darkness is menacing. Flicking on the lights doesn't expel the emptiness or the sick feeling pushing up in my throat. A hollowness settles in my chest as I take in the bowl of half-eaten Rice Krispies and the glass of milk on the table. Charlie? Even if I know what I'll find, I run to the bathroom. No one. Damn it. Leaning on the wall, I cover my eyes and allow myself 1 second to gather strength. Something wet and warm touches my calf. Puff stares at me with his hopeful, sad eyes, his tail wagging in blissful ignorance. It's all right, baby. I pet his wiry hair, needing the reassurance of his warm little body more than he needs my caress. Lightning rips through the sky, the sound lashing out a beat later. I close the curtains. Puff hates thunderstorms. After feeding him, I lock up and knock next door. But like ours, Jerry's flat is dark. Damn him. Jerry promised me. It's a wild guess, but I'm betting on Napoli's being Jerry's favourite hangout. It's the only place he ever goes. The rickety framework clangs under my trainers as I charge down the 2 flights of stairs. It's after 8. Having a car thief as a neighbour keeps me protected to an extent, but only from criminals lower on the hierarchy than Jerry. They are the drug dealers, mafia, and gangs to be reckoned with. I remain alert as I go, checking the abandoned houses, parked cars and alleys, staying under the streetlights, at least the ones not broken. I walk like my mum taught me, like I'm not a victim. The brewing storm dissolves, taking with it the rain that would have washed away the neighbourhood's stench and soot. It's summer, but the smoke from the cooking fires gives the Johannesburg air a thick, wintry smell as I cross from Berea to Hillbrow. Most buildings in Hillbrow no longer have electricity. When crime took over, people who could afford municipal services moved to the suburbs, turning the city centre into a ghost town. Shortly after, the homeless and others with more sinister goals invaded the deserted skyscrapers. The door and windowless buildings look like skulls with empty sockets and gaping mouths. Doors have long since been used for firewood. What is left is the carcass of a city. The vultures have picked the meat off the bones, and now there are only the scavengers who prey on each other, and if I'm lucky tonight, not on me. The walk to Napoli's takes almost 45 minutes. I'm scared, and my legs ache from standing at the veterinary clinic all day. But worry over my brother outweighs fear and exhaustion. By the time I get to the club, I'm close to collapsing. It's not the first time Charlie has disappeared. From experience, I know the police won't help. They have their hands full with murder cases, and so many missing persons, they don't have enough space on milk cartons to post everyone. Anyway, most of them are corrupt. I'll more likely get gang raped by officials in a police cell than get assistance. I have to find my brother myself. A group of teenagers in dirty vests sniffing glue at the corner shout insults. The tallest climbs to his feet, his skin shiny with perspiration and the whites of his eyes like saucers. "Yo, bitch! What you doing on my block?" "Hey!" A meaty bouncer in a t-shirt with a Napoli's logo shuts them up with a look. The bouncer doesn't stop me when I push through the entrance, but I feel his eyes burn at the back of my head as I walk down the black-painted corridor into the brightly lit interior. A song from a local rave rock band blares from oversized speakers. The walls are covered in street art, the day-glow colours popping off the bricks under the fluorescent lights. The club smells of poppers and disco machine smoke. There's every kind of generalization inside, from the dark-suited Portuguese to the gold-chained Nigerians. Half-naked women do the rounds, most of them looking spaced out. Please let them be here. I run my gaze over the bar and the roulette tables at the back. On the left, raucous cheering is directed at the flat screen where a horse race is taking place. The spectators go quiet when they notice me. One of the men touches his buckle and widens his stance. A sign says the money-lending office is upstairs. There's a queue outside the door. That's where gamblers and people who can't make the rent or pay off the mafia sign away their lives, pledging interest of up to 150% on loans that will literally cost them an arm and a leg. The men playing darts turn their heads as I pass. Shit. I'm getting increasingly anxious. As panic is about to seize me, I spot Jerry's orange afro in a circle of heads at one end of the card tables. Charlie sits in the chair next to him. Almost crying with relief, I push people with plastic beer cups in their hands out of the way to reach my brother. Charlie's curls fall over his forehead, and his eyes are scrunched up in concentration. He's wearing a Spider-Man t-shirt and his flannel pajama bottoms. His attire makes him look vulnerable despite his age and bulky frame. Anyone can see he doesn't belong here. How dare the sick son of a bitch who runs this cesspool allow my brother inside? How could you? I say in Jerry's ear. He jumps and gives me a startled look. What are you doing here? Charlie is studying the cards in his hands. He hasn't noticed me yet. I press a hand to my forehead and count to 5. You said you'd watch him for me. I am watching him. He's not supposed to be here. He's a grown man. My brother is not accountable for his actions, and you know it. Charlie looks up. Val, I'm winning. For now, my focus remains on Jerry. Alcohol and gambling are not his only addictions. What did you give him? Relax, he gives me an exasperated shrug. Orange juice, that's all. Come, Charlie. I take my brother's arm, but the croupier snatches my wrist. He's not going anywhere until his debt is paid. My mouth drops open. How could Jerry let this happen? He knows I barely make ends meet. I jerk my arm from the dealer's grip. How much? 400. 400 rand? That's almost half my weekly wage. 400,000. The strength leaves my legs. Letting go of Charlie, I brace myself with my palms on the tabletop. We may as well carve dead on our foreheads. It's impossible. I can't process that amount. In one night? The croupier regards me strangely. Charlie's a regular. He's been running a tab, and his time's up. Jerry? I look at him for an explanation, a solution, to tell me it's a joke, anything, but he gnaws on his bottom lip and looks away. I slam down a fist, rattling the plastic chips. Look at me! The table goes quiet, but not because of my outburst. The men's heads are turned towards the landing on the upper floor. When I follow their gazes, I can't miss the man who stands under the light, his hands gripping the rail. He wears a dark suit, like the Portuguese, but he's anything but a generalization. He's nothing short of a monster. His body is muscular, too big. There's not enough space in the room for him. He drowns everything in power and dominance. He's not young, but he's not old either. Rather than defining his age, his years give him the distinguished edge of men with experience. Thick, black hair falls messily over his forehead, the wisps brushing his ears. His features are rogue, wild, and uncompromising. The lines running from his nose to his mouth are deeply etched. They're the kind of lines men with hard, rough lives wear. A ghastly network of scars runs from his left eyebrow to his cheek. Under the disfigured patchwork, his complexion is tanned. The ruggedness of his skin gives the impression of being marred by bullets. A short, trim beard and moustache cover some of his imperfections, but the damage is too vast to hide. It's a face you don't want to see in the dark, and definitely not in your dreams. It's a face that stares straight at me. Heat, of the scary kind, crawls over my skin. When I look into his eyes, it's as if a bucket of ice is emptied down my shirt. An unwelcome shiver contracts my skin, and my fear turns from hot to cold. His irises are blue, like the far-off glaciers I've only seen in pictures. Everything about him seems foreign, out of place, dangerous. He's the kind of bad that's even out of Napoli's league. Fucking fuck, Jerry mumbles when he finds his voice. Gabriel Louw. I've lived here long enough to recognize the name. His family runs Napoli's. If Hillbrow is the crime capital, Gabriel Louw is the king of the money lords. They call him the Breaker. He's a loan shark, and I've heard stories about him that make my blood freeze with their brutality. The best time to run is when your opponent is distracted. If we have any chance of getting out of here alive, it's now, while Gabriel holds the attention of the room with unyielding demand. Taking Charlie against his will won't work. He weighs twice as much as me, and when he gets obstinate, he's an unmovable dead weight. Let's get an ice cream, I whisper in his ear. But you have to come quietly. Charlie knows about being quiet. We practice it enough times when we hide from the mafia, pretending we're not home. Charlie gets up like I silently prayed he would, and allows me to lead him to the door. I pinch my eyes shut and wait for someone to shout, grab us, shoot, or all three. But when I glance back, Gabriel lifts a palm, and the bouncer steps aside for us to exit. Outside, I suck in a breath of polluted air. Clutching my brother's arm, I walk him back to our side of the tracks, which isn't much better, but it's all we have. He talks, and I let his voice soothe me, trying not to think. When we're home, I'll go over what happened. For now, I'm too preoccupied with lurking dangers. At Three Sisters, I buy Charlie a cone with vanilla ice cream dunked in caramel, his favourite. It's not until we round the corner of our building that trouble strikes again. Tiny leans in the entrance, smoking a joint. When he sees us, he straightens, takes a last drag, and flicks the butt into the gutter. Well, well. He wipes his hands over his dreadlocks and saunters over. Hello, sunshine. Tiny was looking for you. There's an edge to his voice. Where were you? Ice cream, Charlie says. Is that so? Tiny stops short of me. He's not Nigerian or Zimbabwean like most of the people on our block, but Zambian. His skinny frame towers over me, his black skin lost in the darkness of the night, except for the whiteness of his eyes and teeth. You've got money to spoil your old brother here, but not for Tiny's tax? He calls himself the tax collector, but he's not the landlord, but he gathers tax on the rent from everyone who lives in our building. He's a mini-mafia, within a bigger mafia, but dealing with him means I don't have to deal with the bigger mafia, and he's the lesser of two evils. Putting his nose in my hair, he sniffs. You smell like smoke. Club smoke. Who are you with? Tiny pretends he owns me. Mostly, he pretends I like him. In reality, he's a coward, but he still has the power to hurt me. I know this from a split lip and blue eye. You're dating now. It's none of your business. Charlie's key is not on the cord around his neck. I'll have to ask Jerry about it later. I fish my key from my bag and hand it to Charlie. Go up and lock the door. Charlie takes the key, but doesn't move. Go on, I urge. I'll be right up. Oh, okay. Charlie takes 2 steps and stops. I give him an encouraging smile. Quickly, I don't want you to catch a cold. Tiny grabs hold of my hair. I close my eyes. Please, Charlie, obey. I don't want him to see this. When I lift my lashes, my brother is climbing the stairs on the side of the building. Got the money? Tiny pulls on my ponytail. The bond on our flat is fully paid. My parents paid cash for the property years ago, before anyone could predict how crime and dilapidation would render their investment worthless. We don't pay rent, I bit out. This means nothing to Tiny, but I have to try. God knows why, but I try every time. You still owe. He grins, flashing a row of straight teeth. Tiny can't let you stay without paying tax. What example would that be for the others? Give it up, Valentina. I freeze. Don't you dare say my name. He scoffs. That's right. Because you're my bitch. He yanks on my hair. Ain't it so, bitch? Go to hell. Now. That's no way to speak to Tiny. He clicks his tongue. Who's gonna protect you if Tiny ain't around? He tilts his head. Won't ask you again. Where's Tiny's money? I swallow. I'll have it by the end of the month. You know the rules. The 15th is payday. Please, Tiny. Tears burn at the back of my eyes. A cold weight presses on my heart. In the middle of the dirty road, he pushes me down to my knees in the gravel, the stones digging into my skin. His eyes take a feverish light as he unties the string of his sweatpants and lets them fall to his ankles. If you bite again, you'll walk away with more than a shiner. This time, I'll break your arm. Taking the root of his dick in one hand, he grips my hair in the other and guides my mouth to his cock. Disgust wells in my throat. He pushes against my lips. Suck me, white bitch. I don't do anything of the kind. I tune out of the moment and become an empty shell. It's a routine he knows well. He lets go of his penis to catch my jaw, squeezing painfully on the joints until my mouth opens of its own accord. Then he simply uses me, pumping and shoving until I gag. Tears roll over my cheeks. The saltiness slips into my mouth, mixing with the taste of sweat and filth. Mercilessly, like always, Tiny comes fast. Not even a minute later, he ejaculates with a grunt and shoots his load into my mouth. When he pulls out, panting like a pig, I turn my head to the side and spit. He chuckles. One of these days, you're going to swallow. I wipe my mouth with the back of my hand. When you're pretty and your parents are rich. Come on, baby. He pulls me up by the arm, his dick hanging limp between us. Give Tiny a kiss. Let Tiny taste himself in that useless mouth of yours, because you sure as fuck don't know how to suck cock. Let go. I jerk free and snatch my bag up from where it has fallen on the ground. His laugh follows me down the road as I run to our flat, hating myself as much as I hate him. Jerry leans on our door as I come up the stairs. He looks away, avoiding my eyes. He must have left Napoli's shortly after us. That means he slipped past me in the street while Tiny got off in my mouth. You're a scumbag! I try to push him aside, but he doesn't budge. Val! Did you get a kick out of watching? He shoves his hands into his pockets. I'm sorry. For being a peeping Tom or dragging Charlie to Napoli's? I couldn't resist the temptation. A Napoli's VIP pass doesn't happen every day. 400,000 rand, Jerry. We'll sort it out. Don't sweat. Right. The only way to sort it is to disappear, and we have nowhere to go. How long has this been going on? He scratches his head and has the decency to look guilty. A few months. You dragged Charlie out there at night without my permission? Come on, Val. Jerry braces his shoulder on the door. I said I'm sorry. I knock for Charlie to open. I'm physically and mentally too exhausted to fight now. Whatever. I cook and clean for Jerry to keep an eye on Charlie while I work, and although Jerry is a thief, he's not physically mean. At least, not to Charlie. After a while, when Charlie doesn't open, Jerry takes Charlie's key from his pocket and hands it to me. Puff barks as I unlock the door. He waits with a wagging tail. Good night, Jerry. Can I come in? It's late. I need to study. I use the excuse even if I know that there's no way I'll focus on a textbook tonight. But it's the quickest way to get rid of Jerry. Otherwise, he'll stay until 4 a.m. Oh, come on. Just an hour. I close and lock the door on his plea, waiting until his shoes shuffle down the landing. I brush my teeth 3 times before I fix Charlie scrambled eggs and toast for dinner, put him to bed, and settle down on the sleeper couch with Puff. Sleep doesn't come. I think of Charlie and the handsome 15-year-old boy he'd been. He was one of those all-rounders who was good at sports and first in his class. He was my big brother, my hero. 2 years younger than Charlie, I was in primary school when he went to high school. He fetched me when the bell went at the end of the day, carried my school bag, took my hand, and walked me to ballet practice. We didn't tell my parents he made a deal with Miss Paula to work in her garden so I could carry on dancing. If they knew, my father would have demanded he worked for money to buy necessities. Those necessities being booze and cigarettes. Charlie helped me fit the ballet shoes Miss Paula lent me, and waited the hour the dance practice lasted before walking me home to fix me a sandwich. He could have hung out with his friends, but he didn't. He took care of me. If the accident hadn't happened, if I didn't want a stupid piece of chocolate cake that night, Charlie would have been Charles. My brother would have grown into the man he was born to be. Like every night, I weep into my pillow, shedding bitter tears that won't help me one damn bit. Brain damage is irreparable. Puff cries at the door, letting me know that he needs to go. The sun is up, but it's barely 5. I wait downstairs on the cracked concrete while he does his business against a dead tree and throw a stick for him to fetch a couple of times. Beside himself with joy, he trips over his paws to lay the broken branch at my feet. Puff is always a happy dog. One morning, yelping coming from a garden trash can alerted me. I pulled out a starved, dirty, flea-ridden puppy. To this day, Puff is scared of trash cans. He's not done playing, but I have to call Chris and tell her I won't make it to work today. I hate leaving her in the lurch, but I've got to figure out what to do. 400,000 rand isn't going away. Maybe I can explain about Charlie's condition at Napoli's. Maybe if Jerry backs me up, we stand a chance. Napoli's is part of the big fish. They make mince of petty criminals like Jerry, but he's a regular, no less with a VIP pass. They feed on addicts like him. They need his business. Back inside, Charlie is up. He offers me a smile that breaks my heart, because it's a smile that hasn't grown beyond 15 years. Ruffling his hair, I turn to the kitchenette so that he won't see the tears in my eyes. I call Chris, but her phone goes straight onto voicemail. Perhaps she's in the shower. I leave a quick message telling her I won't be in and that I'll call back later to explain. Are you not going to work? Not today. I open the cupboard and scan the contents. There isn't much. Charlie eats like a horse. What's for breakfast? I can't tell him how sorry I am. We can't have mature discussions about guilt and penance. How about cookies? The simple treats that make him happy are all I can offer. Chocolate? There are flour, powdered milk, 1 egg and cocoa. I can concoct something. If I could, I'd give him the world. I heat the 2-plate portable oven and let him mix the dough. While the cookies bake, I shower and dress before sending Charlie to do his morning grooming. At the same time the timer on my phone pings for the oven, there's a text message from Jerry. Run. A tremor rattles my bones. I shiver, even if it's hot inside from the oven. Hurrying to the window, I peer through. A black Mercedes is parked across the road. A woman sits in front, but with the glare of the sun on the window, I can't make out anything other than her black hair. A man in a suit gets out from the driver's seat, and another from the back. He holds the door. A third man folds his large frame double to exit. Adjusting the sleeves of his jacket, he looks up and down the street before turning his head in the direction of our window. Gabriel Louw. My breath catches. I jump back before he sees me. Charlie comes out of the bathroom and starts making his bed like I taught him. The cookies. They're burning. I switch off the oven and use a dishcloth to dump the baking tray on a cork plate, trying not to panic. There's no back door or window. The only way out is through the front. We're trapped. I lean on the wall, shaking and feeling sick. Please, don't let him kill us. Scrap that. Rather, let him kill us than torture us. Everyone from Auckland Park to Bez Valley knows what the breaker does to debtors who don't pay. He has a reputation built on a trail of broken bodies and burnt houses. Puff, always sensing anxiety, licks my ankles. Footsteps fall on the landing. It's too late. Fighting instinct flares in me. My need to protect my brother takes over. I grab Charlie's hand. Listen to me. My voice is urgent but calm. Can you be brave? Brave. Puff barks once. The knock on the door startles me, even if I expected it. I can't move. I should have taken Charlie and run last night. No, they would have found us. Then it would have been worse. You can't outrun the breaker. Another knock falls, harder this time. The sound is hollow on the false wood. Stand up straight. Don't show your fear, I want to say, but Charlie won't understand. No third knock comes. The door breaks inward, pressed wood splintering with a dry, brittle sound. 3 men file through the frame to make my worst nightmare come true. They're carrying guns, dark complexions, Portuguese, except for the one in the middle. He's South African. He moves with a limp, his right leg stiff. Gabriel is even uglier up close. In the daylight, the blue of his eyes look frozen. They hold the warmth of an iceberg as his gaze does a merry-go-round of the room, gauging the situation to the minutest details with a single glance. He knows we're unprotected. He knows we're frightened, and he likes it. He feeds off it. His chest swells, stretching the jacket over his broad shoulders. He taps the gun against his thigh, while his free hand closes and opens around empty air. Tap, 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 tap. Those hands. My God, they're enormous. The skin is dark and rough with strong veins and a light coat of black hair. Those hands are not afraid of getting dirty. They're hands that can wrap around a neck and crush a windpipe with a squeeze. I swallow and lift my gaze to his face. He's no longer taking stock of the room. He's assessing me. His eyes run over my body as if he's looking for sins in my soul. It feels as if he cuts me open and lets my secrets pour out. He makes me feel exposed, vulnerable. His presence is so intense we're communicating with the energy alone that vibrates around us. His stare reaches deep inside of me and filters through my private thoughts to see the truth, that his cruel self-assurance stirs both hate and awe. It's the awe he takes, as if it's his right to explore my intimate feelings, but he does so probingly, tenderly almost, executing the invasive act with respect. Then he loses interest. As soon as he sucked me dry, I ceased to exist. I'm the carpet he wipes his feet on. His expression turns bored as he fixes his attention on Charlie. Taking back some power, I say, "What do you want?" His lips twitch. He knows I'm bluffing. "You know why I'm here." His voice is deep. The rasp of that dark tone resonates with authority and something more disturbing. Sensuality. He speaks evenly, articulating every word. Somehow, the musical quality and controlled volume of his voice makes the statement sound 10 times more threatening than if he'd shouted it. Under different circumstances, I would have been enchanted by the rich timbre. All I feel now is fear, and it's reflected on Charlie's face. I hate that I can't take it away for him. "I'll only ask you once," Gabriel says, "and I want a simple yes or no answer." Tap, 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 tap. "Do you have my money?" Spatters of words dribble from Charlie's lips. I don't like them. Not nice men." The man on the left, the one with the lime green eyes, lifts his gun and aims at Charlie's feet. It happens too fast. Before I can charge, his finger tightens on the trigger. The silencer dampens the shot. I wait for the damage, blood to colour the white of Charlie's tennis shoe. But instead, there's a wail, and Puff falls over. "Oh no, please, no, dear God, no, no, no." It has to be a horror movie. But the hole between Puff's eyes is very real. So is the blood running onto the linoleum. The lifeless body on the floor unfurls a rage in me. He was only a defenseless animal. The unfairness, the cruelty, and my own helplessness are fuel on my shocked senses. In a fit of blind fury, I storm the man with the gun. "You sorry excuse of a man!" He ducks, easily grabbing both my wrists in one hand. When he aims the gun at my head, Gabriel says, his beautiful voice vibrating like a tight-pulled guitar string, "Let her go." The man obliges, giving me a shove that makes me stumble. The minute I'm free, I go for Gabriel, punching my fists in his stomach and on his chest. The more he stands there and takes my hammering, my assault having no effect on him, the closer I come to tears. Gabriel lets me carry on, to make a fool of myself, no doubt, but I can't help it. I go on until my energy is spent and I have to stop in painful defeat. Going down on my knees, I feel Puff's tiny chest. His heartbeat is gone. I want to hug him to my body, but Charlie is huddled in the corner, ripping at his hair. Ignoring the men, I straighten up and cup Charlie's hands, pulling them away from his head. "Remember what I said about being brave?" Brave. So much hatred for Gabriel and his cronies fill me that my heart is as black as a burnt-out volcano. There's no space for anything good in there. I know I shouldn't give in to the darkness of the sensations coursing through my soul, but it's as if the blackness is an ink stain that bleeds over the edges of a page. I embrace the anger. If I don't, fear will consume me. Gabriel gives me a strangely compassionate look. "You owe me an answer." "Look around you." I motion at our flat. "Does it look like we can afford that kind of money? You're a twisted man for giving a mentally disabled person a loan." His eyes narrow and crinkle in the corners. "You have no idea how twisted I'm willing to get." Gabriel grasps Charlie by the collar of his t-shirt, dragging him closer. "For the record, if you didn't want your brother to make debt, you should have declared him incompetent and revoked his financial signing power." "Leave him alone!" I grab Gabriel's arm and hang onto it with my full weight, but it makes no difference. I'm dangling on him like a piece of washing on a line. He swats me away, sending me flying to the ground, and presses the barrel of his pistol against my brother's soft temple, where a vein pulses with an innocent life not yet lived. Val! He cocks the safety. "Yes or no?" "Yes!" Using the wall at my back for support, I scramble to my feet. "I'll pay it!" Charlie cries softly. Gabriel looks at me as if he notices nothing else. His eyes pin me to the spot. Under his gaze, I am a frog splayed and nailed to a board, and he holds the scalpel in his hand. He doesn't lower the gun. "Do you know how much?" "Yes." My voice doesn't waver. "Say it." 400,000. "Where's the money?" The ghost of a smile is back on his face. Behind the scarred mask is a man who knows how to hurt people, to get what he wants. But for now, he's entertained. The bastard finds the situation amusing. "I'll pay it off." He tilts his head. You'll pay it off. He makes it sound as if I'm mad. With interest. Miss Haynes, I assume? Despite his declared assumption, he says it like it's a fact. Everything about him shouts confidence and arrogance. Tell me your name. You know my name. Men like him know the names of all the family members before they move in for the kill. I want to hear you say it. I wet my dry lips. Valentina. He seems to digest the sound like a person would taste wine on his tongue. How much do you earn, Valentina? I refuse to cower. 60,000. He lowers the gun. It's a game to him now. Per month? Per year. He laughs softly. What do you do? I'm an assistant. I don't offer more. It's enough that he already knows my name. He regards me with his arms hanging loosely at his sides. 9 years. It sounds ridiculous, but the quick calculation I do in my head assures me it's not. That's almost 5,000 per month, including 30% interest on the lump sum. I can't call him unfair. Loan sharks in this neighborhood ask anything between 50 to 150% interest. 9 years, if you pay it back with the lowest interest, he continues, confirming my calculation. Of course, I'm not planning on staying a vet assistant forever. It's only until I qualify as a vet in 4 more years. By then, I'll be earning more. I'll pay it off faster when I get a better job. He closes the 2 steps between us with an uneven gait. He's standing so near I can smell the detergent of his shirt and the faint, spicy fragrance of his skin. You misunderstood my offer. His eyes drill into mine. You'll work for me for 9 years. My breath catches. For you? He looks at me. Doing what? I ask on a whisper. The intensity in those iced blue depths sharpens. Any duty I see fit. Think carefully, Valentina. If you accept, it'll be a live-in position. I know what any duty implies. He's no different than Tiny. Loathing fills me. Gabriel regards me as if he's making a bet with himself. Either I shoot your brother and you walk away, or he's free and you work off his debt. Give me whatever contract I need to sign, and I'll find my own way to pay you. He chuckles. It's my terms or none. What choice do I have? My knees feel shaky, but it's hardly the time to be weak. I'll do it. As I say the words, a ball of ice sinks to my stomach. For a moment, he looks surprised, but then his expression becomes closed off. You have 5 minutes to pack. I have a condition. The amusement is back on his face. He taps the gun on his thigh and waits. I want my brother's safety guaranteed. If I'm not around, Charlie will need protection. I don't want a repeat of what's got us into this mess. Fair enough. He'll have my protection. I need to call someone to fetch him. He can't stay alone. He takes his phone from his pocket, punches in a code, and pushes it into my hand. You'll use mine until we've ensured yours isn't compromised. Turning my back on them, I type my only friend's number. While I'm dialing Chris, the man with the dark eyes searches my purse that hangs over a chair in the kitchen. I watch the men from the corner of my eye, my hand shaking as I wait for Chris to take the call. It's Valentina, I say when she answers. Dogs bark in the background. I didn't recognize this number. Do you have a new phone? I saw you called earlier, but I haven't listened to your message yet. Chris, listen to me. I need you to fetch Charlie. Can he stay with you for a while? What happened? Charlie made a debt at Napoli's. I'm with the creditor. What? She shrieks. You're with a loan shark? Where? My place. Things have changed. I'm going to work off Charlie's debt, but he can't stay alone. My cheeks grow hot as I add, it's a live-in position. What about your job here? I'm sorry. I know how much you need me. It's always hectic at the clinic, and I feel bad for what I have to do. Chris is one of the best vets I know. She gave me a job when nobody else would, and I hate turning my back on her. Gabriel checks his watch. You have 3 minutes. I have to go. Will you call me when you've got Charlie? I'm on my way. Thank you, Chris. I glance at Puff's body, forcing down my tears. You'll have to... Gabriel takes the phone from my hand. Hello, Chris? He keeps his piercing gaze trained on me. The door to Valentina's flat is broken, but don't worry. I'll have it replaced. He cuts the call. 2 minutes. I suppose you'll pack light. Stress drives me as I shove the few outfits and toiletries I own in our only travel bag. What will become of Charlie? For now, he's alive. I'm alive. That's what I need to focus on. Gabriel's cronies help themselves to the cookies cooling on the table. Gabriel says nothing. Only his disturbing stare follows me as I move through the room. I've barely zipped up my bag before he says, "Let's go." Adrenaline from the shock makes me strong. Strong enough to walk to my brother with confident steps and take his tear-streaked face in my hands. I go on tiptoes and kiss his forehead. Remember what I said about being brave? You can do it. I want to say I'll call him, but I don't want to lie. Wait for Chris. She'll be here soon. Gabriel takes my bag and steers me to the door, stopping in the frame to say to the man who shot Puff, "Stay with her brother until the woman arrives. Bury the dog. Have the door fixed before you go." The man nods. He's shorter than Gabriel, but not less muscled. I look over my shoulder and take in everything I can. Charlie's haphazard hair, his soft hazel eyes, and the washed-out Spider-Man t-shirt. Because I don't know if I'll ever see him again.
Chapter 2. The petite brunette stiffens when I take her elbow to steer her down the stairs. Her face is ghastly white, and her whole body trembles, but she walks with a straight back. I've dragged men 3 times her size, kicking and screaming, to a tamer fate than the one awaiting her. She has guts, but I already knew that from last night. On the pavement, I take her hand to help her down the curb. Her delicate frame grows even more rigid, but she doesn't resist. Magda turns her head to the car window when we approach. She startles at the sight of the woman I have in the iron grip of my fingers, and then her expression turns stoic. My mother isn't happy. This isn't what she ordered. Tough luck. It's not going to happen the way she wants today, but I've got some explaining to do. Magda gets out, her eyes shredding me to pieces. "Put her in the back," I say to Quincy, handing Valentina over like a parcel. Magda waits until Quincy shuts the door and walks to where we're out of earshot. "She was supposed to be dead." "I made a deal." "What deal?" 9 years for Charlie's debt. She blinks. "You're taking her?" I cross my arms. "Yes." "You want to fuck her?" I don't deny it. There's no point. "It's not that simple, Gabriel." I saw her, I wanted her, I took her. Yeah, it's that simple. "That wasn't the plan," Magda insists. "The plan changed." She throws her hands up in the air and starts pacing the sidewalk. "The price was death." "Charlie has brain damage." That's a tougher price than death, to me at least. We shouldn't have granted him a loan. "Well, we did. Retard or not, showing mercy is showing our enemies we're getting soft." 9 years is not exactly mercy. Not with what I'm planning for Valentina. "She has to die." I never go back on my word. People in our business trust us because I keep my word. Rhett and Quincy heard me make the deal. The charcoal lines around her eyes wrinkle. "What did you promise?" Live-in arrangement." "Arrangement?" I said she could work back the debt. Underneath Magda's controlled exterior, she's simmering. A vein pops out on her temple. "Fine. You want to play doll? Have your fun. But we're setting her up to fail. When she does, she's dead, and so is her brother." A sharp pain jolts into my damaged hip. I make a conscious effort to relax my body, muscle by muscle. "Come on." Magda is already on her way back to the car. "I'll figure it out on the way home." For the first time, I regret never giving a fuck about professional relationship building. I don't care what people think, or about anyone but my daughter, but Magda has always cast the net out wide, catching everyone she can put in her pocket. Her network and influence stretch much further than mine. She carries all the authority in this organization. Sometimes I have the ugly suspicion the business is the only reason she married my father, so she could take it over. She makes a hell of a tougher loan shark than he ever did, and he was a scary bastard. I get into the back with Valentina while Magda sits up front with Quincy. "Drive," she tells my bodyguard. Quincy and Magda are quiet, I guess because of the girl. An intense awareness of the woman next to me and my power over her spreads through my body, making me hard. Fuck me, I own her. She's mine. The thought gives me a head rush. She's so small she looks like the doll Magda accused me of wanting to play with. Upright, Valentina barely reaches my chest. Her bones are fragile enough to crush under the lightest pressure. If I hug her too tight, her ribs may crack. I can wrap one hand around her slender neck. How hard I choose to close my fingers will be the discerning factor between life and death. Yet, she attacked me when Rhett shot her dog. She gave me an order when she told me to let Charlie Haynes go. She's strong and loyal. I'm both fascinated and jealous of her love for her brother. No one has ever fought for me like that, and I doubt anyone ever will. Throwing any duty I see fit into the package was a test. I wanted to see how far she was willing to go for Charlie, not that her decision would have changed anything. I took ownership of her the minute I laid eyes on her. Last night, I already knew I was going to take her, regardless. When the club manager at Napoli's called to let me know my mother's target was in, the said target being Charlie, my plan was to go in, take Charlie out, and then his sister, who would have been home alone. Making examples of people who don't pay is standard procedure. Some people don't fear for themselves, but they always fear for their families. By Magda's design, Valentina would have been the sacrifice to serve as a reminder to our debtors. As long as they owe, their families aren't safe. Then I stepped out of the office, and there she was, all tits, ass, and legs. No woman, except for the prostitutes, goes into Napoli's willingly. A nerve pinches between my shoulder blades when I think of what could have happened to her had I not been there. She's either extremely naive or stupidly brave. After this morning, I suspect the latter. Come to think of it, I don't get how she survived here this long. According to Jerry, she's been residing in Berea for 6 years. The shithole she lived in is in Drug Valley. It's a surprise the drug and sex lords haven't kidnapped and sold her, or a street gang hasn't raped and killed her yet. There are infinitely dark things that can happen to an unprotected, beautiful girl in this neighborhood. I watch her from the corner of my eye. In the 20 minutes we've been driving, she hasn't said a word. Her brown hair is long and wavy, curling down her shoulders. A clean smell clings to her, like fragrance shampoo or body lotion. I like it. Complex perfumes give me a headache. In the white shorts and yellow tank top, her toned legs and rounded breasts are exposed to me. So is the vein that pulses under the golden skin of her neck. Her fear excites me. Her courage intrigues me. Long, dark lashes shutter the expression in her brown eyes from me. She's pretending to look through the window, but I know she's aware of me, and the gun resting in my lap. The weapon is cool in my hand. I'm long since past the stage where my palms get sweaty before a job. I don't mind killing. I live in a violent city. Only the toughest survive, and I'm a survivor. I won't hesitate to pull the trigger if anyone threatens or harms my family. Lay a finger on my property, and I'll break it off. I was the kind of kid who took pleasure in breaking other boys' toys. I still break. Mostly bones these days. When it comes to hearts, I only break what's already broken. That way, I don't have to take responsibility for anyone's feelings. Now I've taken responsibility for a person on a whole different level. At least there's no risk of breaking Valentina's heart. She already hates me, and with what I'm planning for her body, she'll only hate me more. But she'll need me with equal intensity. Of that, I'll make sure. Her gaze widens fractionally as we pull up to our property. It's a double-story mansion on big grounds, surrounded by a 6-foot wall fitted with electrified barbed wire and 24-hour armed guards. In this city, only people with money are safe. She keeps her face perfectly blank as we clear the gates. The original Frank Emily design dates from the early 1900s and combines various styles with a strong Victorian influence: ironwork, stone walls, and Art Nouveau stained glass windows. It's smack bang in the heart of Parktown, in the middle of the homes of the bankers, diamond dealers, politicians, and everyone else who can be bought. Quincy parks and opens the door for Magda first, then for me. While I'm stretching my stiff leg, he lets Valentina out and hovers with her purse and travel bag in front of the fountain. "I'll take that." I grab her possessions and grip her arm to lead her up the porch steps. My fingers overlap the small diameter of her upper arm. This is the point where I expected a kick in her heels and scream, but she remains eerily calm. Magda overtakes us on the stairs.
"One wrong move, one wrong word to anyone, and Charlie is dead. Get that?"
Valentina tilts her head away from my mother, a tremor running through her body. Marie, our faithful old cook, opens the door. Her face freezes when her eyes land on the young woman.
"Prepare the maid's room,"
Magda says.
"I'll brief you later."
She enters ahead of us.
"Gabriel, bring the girl to my study."
Before I can argue, Magda is gone. Marie's gaze remains fixed on the woman at my side. May as well get the introduction over with. "This is Valentina," I say. "She's property." Marie nods, as if I bring property home every day, but she understands. She's been around the block. She scurries away without offering me my usual drink. I steer Valentina to my mother's study and close the door. Whatever Magda is cooking up, I really don't like it. The sight of my mother's personal bodyguard, Scott, standing behind a chair with a pistol clutched in his hand, makes me rest my hand on my own weapon tucked in my waistband. The threat is clear. Defy Magda, and Valentina will end up like her dog, with a bullet between her soft, mud-brown eyes. Magda addresses my tiny charge.
"I understand you'll be working for us."
She points at the chair facing her desk. "Sit." I let Valentina go. She obeys, balancing on the edge of the seat. Mirroring Scott's stance, I remain standing, just in case.
"What are your skills?"
Magda asks. Valentina's lashes flutter as she lifts her eyes to me. They're big for a small face, and hauntingly sad, but proud also.
"Answer when you're being spoken to,"
Magda says in the headmistress voice she reserved for chastising me as a kid.
"I'm an assistant."
Magda's mouth pulls down.
"That's it. I also cook and clean for my neighbor."
Magda taps her fingernails on the desktop. After some time, she says,
"You'll work for us as a maid, and whatever else Gabriel expects from you."
My mother gives me an acidic look, as if the sight of me gives her indigestion.
"You'll work Monday to Friday until dinner's been served and the kitchen is clean. On Saturday, you're off from 5 in the afternoon. You're expected back by 8 on Monday morning. If we have events at home, we expect you to work, regardless of after hours."
The maid idea pisses me off, but the leisure time unleashes a rage in me, not that I have any ground to stand on. It's Magda's business and her debt to collect. I'm only the deal maker. My new toy better not try to escape. I bet that's what Magda is bargaining on. It'll give her the reason she wants to eliminate Valentina and terminate my idiotic deal, as she put it.
"You'll keep the house tidy,"
Magda continues.
"And with tidy I mean spotless. Everything on the inside of this building is your responsibility, except for the cooking. Marie takes care of that. If I need you to cook, I'll tell you. If you poison any one of us, you and your brother will die slow and painful deaths. Understand?"
Her throat moves as she swallows.
"Yes." "Yes, Mrs. Louw, or ma'am."
Those dark eyes flash with defiance, but she averts them quickly.
"Yes, ma'am." "If you fail in any of your tasks, the deal's off and you're dead."
A sardonic light sparks in Magda's eyes.
"Work well for—"
She looks at me and waits. 9 years, I fill in.
"Work well for 9 years, Magda continues, and Charlie's debt will be paid off. We won't pay you a salary. The money we would have given you will go towards the settlement of your debt. I don't allow servants to eat from our table, but you may use the kitchen facilities to prepare your meals. Since you won't earn cash, my son will pay you an allowance for food and personal commodities. Any questions?" "Is there a routine I need to follow? What do I do exactly?"
Magda gets to her feet.
"You'll figure it out. You start immediately."
Valentina follows Magda's lead, getting up from her chair with consternation on her face. Before she goes, there's one thing she needs to understand. I grab her face in one hand, digging my fingers into her cheeks. "Run from me, and you'll wish I shot you today." Her body is close to mine, and I can smell her scent. I fill the olfactory gap I couldn't place in the car. Raspberry. She looks like a dove with her wings tied, but she doesn't falter under my stare. "Are we clear?" I ask softly. I never raise my voice. I don't have to.
"Yes."
"Good." I let her go. Her hand goes to her jaw, touching the imprint of my fingers.
Marie will show you to your room, Magda says. You'll find her in the kitchen. I hand Valentina her travel bag, but hold on to the purse and remain standing since I haven't been dismissed. The minute Valentina is gone, I say, she doesn't know the way. Magda goes to the wet bar and pours a tot of vodka, which she dilutes with orange juice, letting her find her own way as her first test. Meaning, the hidden cameras will record any traitorous act she may conceive in her simpleton mind, and you'll use it to your advantage to break her. Magda takes a sip of her drink and walks back to her desk to pick up the internal phone that connects to the kitchen. Marie answers on the first ring with a professional, "Mrs. Louw?" that comes over the speaker. "Order maid uniforms for Valentina and linen for her room." "Any preference, ma'am?" "Black." "The uniform or the linen?" "The uniform. Make the linen," she thinks for all of 1 second, giving me an over-easy smile. "White." She hangs up and continues. "Black and white. Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? It'll remind her of what she became, our servant and your plaything." "She won't run," I say, a challenge in my voice. "I just found Valentina. I'm not about to kill her on Sunday." Magda smirks, swirling her glass. "That's not why I gave her Sundays off." "Why did you?" "To give her the illusion of freedom, of fairness. For now, I'll let her believe she has a chance. People without hope can't be broken." My mother lifts the glass to her lips. "You see? I'm giving us both what we want. You get to break her, and I get to kill her." Hatred laces Magda's words. The fact that I want this woman enough to defy my mother elicits Magda's scorn. I have no doubt she'll make Valentina pay for causing me to stray from the not-so-straight and narrow path cut out for me. At my silence, Magda says, "You understand we can't let her meet her end of the bargain. That'll be weak. I promised her 9 years. I have no intention of letting her live that long." Her smile grows until it invades all of her face. She's bound to screw up sooner than later. A sudden insight startles me. Magda is happy with the turn of events. She wants Valentina to suffer, and she's relying on my natural disposition to make it happen.
My throat aches from pent-up tears as I leave Mrs. Louw's study. If I had any hope that Gabriel's mother would have compassion and help me, it's been eradicated in that room. She's worse than her son. Her blackness far colder. I'm sick to my stomach with worry over Charlie. I need to call Chris and check that he's all right, but Gabriel gave me my clothes and held onto my purse with my phone. I can't allow myself to think about this morning or Puff. Not yet. For now, I need to be strong. With the imminent danger of death over, reality crashes down on me. Despair seeps into my pores. The calculation is harrowing. I'll be 32 before I walk free. If I ever walk free. There's no doubt in my mind that Gabriel will kill me without blinking an eye. I know men like him. My father was one. The servant role isn't only to pay off a debt. It's a means of degrading me. I have no issue pulling the hair from Gabriel's shower or scrubbing his toilet. What's killing me is sleeping under his roof and eating food he pays for. I'm forced to allow my enemy to take care of me. It feels personal and wrong. The last thing I want from Gabriel is any kind of care. I'll talk to Chris and negotiate to work Sundays. That way, I'll still be able to pay for my studies. No matter what, I'm not giving it up. It's my only hope, our only ticket out of Berea. I'll just have to put my plans on the back burner for 9 years. After getting lost in corridors and too many rooms with sofas and chairs, how many lounges can one family need? I finally locate the kitchen at the far east end of the mansion. The size of the house overwhelms me. It's going to be a hell of a job to keep the place spotless. Marie waits for me in a sterile-looking kitchen, a hostile expression on her face. "I'd better show you around." Wordlessly, I fall in behind her. We go through the ground level with its reading, sitting, television, entertainment, and dining rooms, and up a flight of stairs. The bedrooms and bathrooms on the first level are luxurious and comfortable. As we move along, my heart sinks lower and lower. It's too much. Who's currently cleaning the house? Marie looks at me as if I've asked her for a gold coin. A cleaning service. I presume since you're here, they'll be fired. Poor people. They're going to lose a big contract, but at least they're free. At a wooden door with an intricate carving, she stops. This is his bedroom. Next door is Miss Carley's. Mr. Louw's mother is at the opposite end. She knocks on Miss Carley's door and opens it without waiting for a reply. A girl of about 16 lies on her stomach on the bed. The room is one of the prettiest I've seen. It's decorated in blue with whitewashed furniture. Carley, Marie says, this is Valentina. She's the new live-in. Carley lifts her head to look me up and down before burying her face in her iPad again. His daughter, Marie says, closing the door. She lowers her voice. She sometimes lives with her mum, but she's mostly here. So, Gabriel and Carley's mum are separated or divorced. We explore the house until we end up back in the kitchen. Only the kitchen is surgical white. It's not a room the inhabitants of the house live in. There's no breakfast nook, books or flowers. Not a trace of warmth. It's a functional room equipped for the staff. This is where Marie pauses the longest to show me the adjoining scullery, where they keep the household appliances and a fridge for the staff. You can keep your food here, Marie says. The one in the pantry is only for the family. Cleaning products are neatly stacked on the shelves on the wall. Everything is tidy and in its place. At least there are a state-of-the-art vacuum cleaner and washing machine to work with. Do you know how to operate these? Marie points at the washing machine and tumble dryer. I nod, even if I don't. I washed our clothes in the bathtub, but how difficult can it be to figure out a washing machine? The washing has to be sun-dried, Marie explains, unless it rains. Mrs. Louw doesn't believe in wasting electricity. From the scullery, a door leads to the maid quarters. This is where I'll be sleeping for the next 9 years. I put my head around the frame. The room is small, the double bed taking up most of the space, but the cream-coloured carpet is clean and the mattress looks new. The paint is white, and there are no foul smells or damp to darken the walls. A connecting door gives access to a small bathtub with a shower nozzle fitted inside, a basin, and toilet. It's much better than what I'm used to. There are no linen or towels, and I didn't bring any, but I don't ask. Well, Marie dusts her hands, I'll let you get on with it. Your uniforms will arrive later. For now, you'll have to work like this. She gives my legs a disapproving look. Can I have my phone? You'll have to ask Mr. Louw about that. The minute she's gone, I use the bathroom to splash water on my face. The enormity of the situation pushes down on my chest. I can't breathe. Needing air, I open the window, letting the breeze on my wet cheeks cool me. From here, I have a view over an enclosed courtyard. There's a circular clothesline in the centre and a wheelbarrow pushed up against the wall. Through the open door, giving access to the backyard, the blue water of a pool is visible. Since I don't know how to go about my new job with the massive size of the house, I decide to dive into the deep end and swim. It's an approach that always works for me. For the next few hours, I work out a plan of action as I go, starting with laundry and dusting, then vacuuming, and finally washing the floors and windows. My mind is filled with Charlie and Puff, and even if I can't fight my tears, I can hide them while I bend my head over the mop. As I mourn for Puff, I let my hate for Gabriel and the guy who shot him ripen. The only ray of hope in this nightmare is that today is Wednesday. On Sunday, I'll see Charlie. In the late afternoon, Gabriel summons me to the reading room. Stepping inside, I'm taken aback by the presence of an elderly man dressed in a Mandela-style shirt and chinos. Gabriel turns to me. This is Dr. Samuel Engelbrecht. He's going to take a blood sample and examine you. I look between the two men. What for? Gabriel ignores my question. Are you on birth control? The wind is knocked out of me by the implication of the question, even if I expected it as an inevitable part of the deal I'd made. If the doctor recognizes the shock on my face, he doesn't acknowledge it. No, I force through dry lips. The doctor offers me an impersonal smile. Take off your clothes and lie down on the couch, my dear. I can't move. I'm stuck to the carpet. How long do you need? Gabriel asks. 20 minutes. I'll be back for her. On his way to the door, he stops in front of me. If he hurts you, I'll kill him. Dr. Engelbrecht chuckles over his open doctor's case. It's not nice to make jokes like that. It's no joke. Gabriel says it with a smile, but his words send a shiver down my spine. He walks from the room, shutting me inside with the doctor. Come now, the doctor says. I don't have all day. It's embarrassing to undress in front of a stranger who knows my employer is going to fuck me. My whole body blushes as I kick off my trainers, push down my shorts and peel off my top. He must see many patients at home because he's well prepared. A disposable sheet is already spread out on the couch. I keep my eyes fixed on the ceiling as I lay down, trying to go someplace dark in my head. He fits on a pair of surgical gloves. Bend your knees. What are you going to do? Don't worry, my dear. It's just a pap smear. You're supposed to do it every year. First time? I nod. It's not like I have money for doctor's visits. He chats through the examination to put me at ease, but I'm tense. And when he takes the sample, it hurts. He lets me get dressed before he takes my blood. He's just about done when Gabriel steps back into the room. He walks to the couch where I'm sitting with my arm on the armrest while my blood runs into a vial. How did it go? It's the doctor who answers. Very well. I'll have the results tomorrow. I guess Gabriel wants to be sure I'm clean. I can't blame him, seeing where I come from. Depending on the hormone level results, Dr. Engelbrecht continues, I'll drop off an oral contraceptive. He removes the needle and gives me a cotton swab to press on the wound. After packing the samples in his bag, he removes the gloves, shakes Gabriel's hand, and takes his leave. I stare at Gabriel when we're alone, heat burning under the neckline of my top. You could have warned me. It would have stressed you unnecessarily. I'll be the judge of that, I say, jumping to my feet. I may be working for you, but it's still my body. No, beautiful. He gives me a calculated look. I beg to differ. I don't reply. All I can do is rush past him, escaping the unsettling situation. And for now, he lets me. The hard physical labor is an outlet for my anger, frustration, and even a bit of my fear. As I don't run into anyone while I'm cleaning, a false sense of calmness settles over me. But I start to stress again when I realize I can only manage the ground level in whatever time of the day is left. At least the house is immaculate. I can start with the first floor tomorrow. I won't manage unless I work on a rotation basis, deep cleaning some rooms only every second or third day. I don't stop for lunch, and I never had breakfast. By the time I walk into the kitchen at sunset, I'm famished, sweaty and tired, but everything downstairs is sparkling clean. Marie is stirring a pot on the stove. The delicious fragrance of tomato and beef stew fills my nostrils. My treacherous stomach gives a growl. My body doesn't understand pride or honor. It's ruled by the simple survival needs of hunger and thirst. Taking a glass from the cupboard, I fill it under the tap and drink deeply. Marie wipes her hands on her apron. I kept you a sandwich. She motions at a plate under a fly net on the counter with a white envelope next to it. Mr. Louw left your food allowance. He said you won't leave the property before Saturday, but if you write down what you need, I'll order it for you. We have a delivery service that comes every day. Of course they do. Glancing at the clock, the housekeeper continues. I'm off. The dinner is ready. Mrs. Louw is going out tonight. Set the table for Mr. Louw and Miss Carley in the informal dining room. Make sure the kitchen is clean and the table set for breakfast before you go to bed. Mr. Louw usually sees to his own breakfast as he eats before I get on duty. I'll be in at 8. A soft meow sounds from the door. I look down into a pair of yellow eyes flecked with green. A grey cat, His tail and paws tipped with white, runs inside and rubs against my leg. I bend down to pet him. "Hello, you. What's your name?" "That's Oscar," Marie replies. From her tone, I gather she doesn't care much for him. He's Mr. Louw's late grandmother's cat. Pleased with the attention, the tabby flops onto his side. He stretches when I scratch his chin. "Nothing but a nuisance," Marie says with a click of her tongue. This makes me like her even less. I don't trust people who don't like animals. He seems quiet enough. She snorts. "Pisses everywhere. You'll see how much you like him when you have to clean it." "Has he been neutered?" I lift a back leg for a better look. Yep. A puff of air escapes her lips. Like I'd know. Marie takes her jacket and purse from a hook behind the door. "See you tomorrow at 8. She shuts the back door behind her with a firm click. Curious, I tear open the envelope with my name on it and peer inside. I'm surprised to pull out 11 500 Rand bills, 500 more than my monthly wage. It's a lot more generous than I expected. I contemplate refusing the money on principle, but I don't have a choice. Without an income, I can't take care of Charlie and pay for my studies, or eat. Feeling my hunger with full-blown force, I refill my glass with water. At the sound of the running tap, Oscar twitches his ears. "Are you thirsty? Where's your bowl?" When I move towards the door, he jumps to his feet and scoots past me to the scullery. There, next to the dishwasher, are 2 porcelain bowls, one filled with water and the other with kibbles. It doesn't take me long to locate the bag of pet food under the sink. It's a cheap brand, one with more fibre than nutritional value. Typically, it's manufactured to fill, but not to nourish. I top off the food, rinse the water bowl before refilling it with fresh water, and make myself at home on the floor next to Oscar, where I feed him pieces of ham and cheese I dig out of the sandwich. Not the healthiest meal for him either, but at least it's tastier than the cardboard they're feeding him. The food makes Oscar my new best friend. As I set the table and bring in the laundry from outside, he stays by my side, stealing hopeful glances at me that I can only reward with caresses, at least until I have my own groceries. It's late, but I'm worried I won't have time to catch up with all the outstanding work tomorrow, so I fold the clothes I can and put the shirts and dresses for ironing aside. As I wait for the iron to heat up in the scullery, I hear sounds in the kitchen. Immediately, my stomach tightens. How? I don't know, but I know it's him. It's as if the air thickens, making it difficult to breathe. I pinch my eyes shut and hold my breath, hoping he'll leave, but the iron hisses and spits, giving away my hiding place. At the sound, Gabriel sticks his head around the corner. His eyes fix on me, and then on Oscar by my feet. It's difficult to read him. He's looking at me like he's appraising me, or trying to find fault. I hate that he makes me fear. I hate even more that he makes me curious. I try not to stare, but the scars on his face have a magnetic pull on my gaze. What kind of weapon creates such scars? What kind of man survives it? I can't look away from the challenge in his stare. Finally, the harsh lines of his mouth soften a fraction. "You better serve dinner while it's warm." Abruptly, he turns and leaves. I let go of the breath I was holding, my chest deflating as his presence fades and the air decompresses again. Carly sits at the table opposite her father, a smartphone in her hand when I enter with a tray loaded with dishes. She doesn't look up from texting as I place everything in the center of the table. In contrast, Gabriel's eyes follow me around the room. I become intensely aware of my clothes and the state of my body. My skin is shiny with perspiration. I need a shower. To add to my discomfort, he inhales audibly as I sweep past him. When the tray is offloaded, he nods at me. "Serve us, then leave." I lift the lid on the bowl of rice and carry it to Carly. "Rice, miss?" I try to hide my discomfort as I'm forced to grovel and bow to my brother's enemy. No reply. Her head remains bent over her phone, causing her wheat-colored hair to fall in a veil around her face. I hover until the slam of Gabriel's palm on the table make both Carly and I jump. The cutlery and glasses clatter from the force. Put away your phone, Carly. If I see it at the dinner table again, I'll confiscate it. She glares at him with a cool blue gaze. Then I'll have dinner at Mum's. A muscle twitches under one eye before he narrows both. You're welcome to, but since I pay your allowance, your phone stays here. She throws the phone down on the table, the mobile hitting the wood with a thud. Fine. Valentina asked you a question. She looks at me as if I'm the reason for their argument. What? Rice, miss? I repeat, keeping my face void of emotion. For God's sake! She sighs with an exaggerated eye roll. Call me Carly. I hate being called miss. Rice, Carly? I say flatly. She steals a glance at her father and mumbles. What the hell ever? Gabriel's knuckles turn white around the stem of his glass. I can't get out of there fast enough. The atmosphere is so thick with tension I want to choke. I return to my ironing and listen, but there's nothing but the clanging of their cutlery and the clinking of their glasses as the meal progresses in silence. By the time they're done, so am I. All the shirts are folded to perfection, a hated curse pressed into every neat line. The dining room is empty when I clear the table. Loud music comes from upstairs. I don't want to contemplate the difficulties of Gabriel's relationship with his daughter. I don't care. When I get to my room, there are towels and a heap of linen on the bed, together with my purse. In the cupboard, I find 3 black maid's dresses in my size. There's no key in the lock and no chair or other piece of furniture I can push against the door. Not that that will do me any good. I made a deal with a monster, and the only way to survive is to honor it. The first thing I do is extract my phone and call Chris. She answers immediately. Tell me you're all right. I'm fine. Where are you? At Gabriel Louw's house. Did he? A flush works its way up my neck. He will, but I can't tell Chris. She's got enough on her plate. No. How's Charlie? He was upset when I fetched him, but he's calm now. He's watching television. Thank you, Chris. I blink away the moisture in my eyes. I didn't know who else to call. You did the right thing to call me. I was worried sick about you. I'm sorry. I tried your phone several times. Why didn't you answer? I was working. Doing what? I clear my throat. Maid. Maid or whore? Chris, please. Val, you're worth more than that. I'm doing what I have to. A sudden wave of tiredness washes over me. Can you please keep Charlie until the weekend? It's a lot to ask, but I've got no other options. I'll come visit on Saturday and we can talk. Okay. She gives a relieved laugh. I thought you were a prisoner or something. Can I say hello to Charlie? Of course. Hold on. She calls my brother's name. A second later, his sweet voice comes onto the line. Val. Hey, how are you doing? Burgers. Chris made burgers? Yeah. You're going to stay with Chris for a while. I have a new job and it requires me to stay in. Will you visit? Every week. When? Saturday. Saturday. Don't worry about a thing. I'm going to take care of you. Take care. I'll see you on Saturday, okay? Saturday. I love you. And remember to be brave. Love you too. I hang up and stare at the phone for several seconds, battling to process how quickly our lives have changed. It's no use crying over things I can't change. I've gotten through bad situations before. I can get through this. Exhausted, I make the bed and have a quick shower. I try not to think about the fact that it's his water, or that I have to sleep in a bed that belongs to him, between his sheets, under his roof. Too weary to dry my hair, I pull on my nightgown and get into bed. My thoughts dwell on Charlie and Puff as my head hits the pillow. I want to say a prayer for them, but I'm so tired I fall asleep halfway into it, only to be jerked awake to a familiar and threatening presence in the room.
Chapter 3. My new toy wakes with a soundless gasp. Purposefully, I let her fall asleep first. Disorientated, her defenses will be down. It makes it easier to see the truth. For the moment, the only truth is the fear in her eyes. It's not so easy to see the truth in myself, because I don't know what I feel, except for the physical. Her intoxicating smell dominated my dining room and hardened my cock. I don't know what it is about her that brings out my lust. I only know I want her like I've never wanted a woman. Straightening from the doorframe, I prowl to the edge of the bed. She watches me with her big, murky eyes, her chest rising and falling to the rhythm of my steps. Gripping the sheet, I pull it down slowly. She clings to the fabric, but after a second she lets go, surrendering to the inevitable. It's the chase. That's what I want to tell myself. It's not that I need to lie to myself. It's just hard to find the truth in the fucked up slush I call my heart. Maybe I simply want the things I glimpsed in her. The bravery and the love that made her strong enough to take this, what's happening right now, and 9 more years of it for the sake of her brother. My mind tends to be overactive. It rarely shuts down, not even in sleep, but all of my logical thoughts still as I stare down at her body. She's laid out stiff and straight on the white sheet, her hair fanning over the pillow. I reach for the button of my collar. As it pops through the buttonhole, she gulps. Her fingers dig into the sheet. If her body tenses anymore, she's going to snap like a twig. I'm many things, including a killer. I know I'm a scary son of a bitch. I own mirrors, and I'm not afraid to look in them. I see what she sees in her eyes. They're wide and moist in the light that falls from the scullery. The room isn't cold, but she shivers in her nightgown. Inexplicably, this touches me. The women I usually fuck don't shiver. To soften it for her, I turn the scarred side of my face away when I switch on the light of her room. With the sheet discarded at her feet, I take the hem of her nightgown and move it up over her body, exposing her thighs, cotton panties, and her full breasts that, like her eyes, are too big for her body. She's perfect. Her calves are toned and her ankles tapered. I can see her pubic bone beneath the humble fabric of her underwear, and even the sight of the simple cotton hardens my cock. Careful to tamper my lust down a notch, I take my time to study the swell of her stomach and the way her breast slightly flattens to the sides. Her nipples are a dark pink, exactly like I prefer. For the moment, those peaks aren't contracted, but I know how to remedy that, despite her fear. I've had enough partners to accurately read a woman's body and give her what she needs. To ease the tightness in my chest, I undo 2 more buttons, letting the cool air wash down my torso. When I climb onto the foot of the bed, the first sound leaves Valentina's lips. It's something between a sob and a gasp. I much rather prefer a moan. I fold my hands around her narrow feet. She jerks as if I shocked her with a stun gun. Slowly, I run my hands up her legs, over her hips, and up to her ribs. Goosebumps break out over her skin. Careful not to touch any erogenous zones, I reverse the path, keeping the touch light. My cock twitches in the constraints of my pants, pushing painfully against my zipper, but this isn't about me. It's about setting her at ease and bringing her pleasure. After a long time of stroking her like this, she's still incompliant, but her muscles are less tense. With each caress, I move closer and closer to her breasts, until my fingertips skim inches away from her nipples. Even as they finally contract for me, with the tips turning into little pebbles, she fights it, pursing her lips almost as hard as she's squeezing her knees together. She's holding back, watching my every action, trying to contemplate my next move instead of giving over to the feeling. Close your eyes, Valentina.
Are you going to rape me?
I chuckle. No.
Then what are you doing?
Getting to know your body.
You're not going to fuck me?
Eventually, yes, when you beg me. Her eyes glisten like cold tiger-eye gemstones.
That'll never happen.
You talk too much. Close your eyes and shut your mouth, or I'll be forced to blindfold and gag you. My words have the desired effect. She seals her lips and pinches her eyes shut. I retrace my movements, starting a slow rub from her feet to the underside of her arms. After a few minutes of stroking her like this, a flush spreads over her skin, marring her neck and the upper curve of her breasts. The erogenous zones of her body will be filling with blood, making her breasts heavy and her sex swollen, preparing her for penetration. This is the cue I've been waiting for. Drawing circles around her hardening breasts, I close the spiraling trace of my fingers until I'm outlining her areolas. I watch her nipples tighten more, extending into kissable pinnacles I ache to feel on my tongue. Ignoring the hunger that makes my balls draw tight, I roll her nipples between my thumbs and forefingers, and am rewarded with a gasp that sounds very different now. There's a crescendo of pleasure and an undertone of shame. The mixture is an intoxicating sound, one I take perverse pleasure in. I want to own her feelings, her whimpers, her pleasure, and her breaths. Like a signal, her hips lift. I know what her body is asking for, and I know she'll fight it. I need total surrender. Letting go of her pretty tits, I wrap one hand around her neck, applying gentle pressure. The touch is both dominating and protective, and the way she reacts to it will tell me everything I need to know about how to make her happy in bed. To my surprise, her head lifts slightly, pressing her neck harder into my palm. Valentina is a natural submissive, my favorite kind of conquest. Keeping my hand in place, I reward her with a kiss on each nipple. Her lips part on a soundless moan, and her eyes fly open. She blinks at me in surprise. She either expected me to bite her, or she's battling to process the sensation. Holding her gaze, I flick my tongue over her right breast, sucking the delicious nipple deep into my mouth. Her back arches off the bed, and a soft cry falls from her lips. At the sound of it, she goes completely still. Instead of fighting her arousal, she lies back like a corpse, her eyes fixed somewhere on the ceiling. Her muscles unclench, going slack under my hands. This won't do. I won't let her hide from me in her mind. Look at me. The command is at direct odds with my earlier one, but I'm learning to read and understand her reactions. Of course, she ignores me, wandering around in the void she has created in her head. If you don't look at me right now, we're going to start over. This time, we'll practice in front of the mirror. Slowly, she turns her gaze back in my direction until she's watching me from under her lashes. Good girl. Keep on watching me and tell me what you feel. If you stop talking, we start from scratch. What? She furrows her eyebrows, but I don't give her time for another question. I resume the task of licking her nipple like it's my favorite candy. When a suppressed moan slips from her lips, I lift my head to give her a hard look. Valentina, I won't tell you again. How does it feel? She licks her lips, watching me as I lave her breast with my tongue. It feels hot. She flushes bright red. Wet, I mean... Good. She bites her bottom lip. Carry on. I move to her other breast. Soft. Hard. She cries out as I nip her with my teeth. Tell me. No, different, I don't know. I suck her relentlessly, plumping up her breast in my fist and pinching the hard tip with my lips. Be clearer. Good. God, it hurts good. She pants and squirms. It's good to have her in the moment with me. I need her to feel, because I get off on her pleasure. I kiss her breasts and fondle her nipples until she's close to hyperventilating, throwing incoherent words and phrases at me. I'm going to make you come, I say, and you can't stop it. She tenses again, her face a mask of agonized pleasure. Say it, I urge, pinching her nipple hard. She yelps. Can't. Stop it. That's it. I suck on her nipple. Let it go. She wiggles. I can't. I won't stop, Valentina. We'll go all night if we have to, but you're going to give it to me. She grips my shoulders, her nails digging into my skin, and gives a frustrated sob. I don't understand what you want from me. Just lie back and I'll show you. Her grip around me tightens, and her neck strains up, fear dampening the arousal in her eyes. My cock will stay in my pants. Lie back. Slowly, the muscles in her neck relax as she lays her head back on the pillow. Once more, her body goes soft beneath me, but this time, she's present. There's no more holding back. Her legs go slack, her thighs parting an inch. The slow, raspy lick of my tongue over her nipple is another reward, strengthening her good behavior. When she lifts her shoulders off the mattress, I almost lose control. I suck her nipple to the back of my mouth, eating her breast like a piece of cake, and she throws the reward right back to me by pushing deeper, forcing me to take more and giving me what I've been waiting for. The sweetest whimper falls on my ears. So damn hot. My fingers tighten involuntarily around her neck, applying more pressure, showing us both who she belongs to. There's no intent to harm, and her subconscious mind knows this, I lave her other breast with the wet strokes of my tongue, giving the plump curve the same meticulous attention as its twin until she squirms in my hold. Loosening my grip on her neck, I let my palm slide down her throat, between her breasts and over her stomach. Her skin is slick from my kisses, and the wet trail makes her tummy quiver. Keeping my hand on her stomach, I kiss a path to her pubic bone, nuzzling her skin with my nose. The smell of her desire drives me crazy. She's wet, and the possessive side of me revels in the knowledge that I'm the cause. I'm the master of her desire. I brought her this far. I'll take her over the edge. She seems barely coherent as I hook my fingers in the elastic of her underwear and pull it over her hips and down her legs. I free her ankles and discard the piece of clothing on the floor. She's turned on enough to take it a level rougher. I push her legs wide open, giving all of my senses access to her deepest core. It's no secret that I love fucking. This is the part of women I love with reverence. I love their delicate folds, their taste, their smell, and the sound they make when I invade their bodies. Valentina's cunt is beautiful. Her pussy lips are pink and plump, glistening with arousal. Her clit peeks from between her swollen labia like a pearl. The pucker of her asshole is a rosebud, and the tightness tells me no man has claimed her there. I don't mind her dark, silky pubic hair, but it has to go. I want to see her bare skin when I part her with my cock. I want to see her peachy lips stretch as wide as they can go when I take her deep, but thinking ahead only fucks with my head and torments my aching dick. I close my eyes and focus on her taste instead. My tongue sweeps over her slit to the tip of her clit. She jerks violently, a sweet cry bouncing off the walls. Her hands dig into my shoulders, shoving and pulling simultaneously. She stopped talking. The only sounds coming from her lips are the bones I was chasing after. Just feel, I whisper over her skin. You have no control, no choice. She relaxes and opens wider, giving me better access. I spear my tongue into her pussy and groan as her thighs hug my face in a soft vice. Her honey coats my tongue, the taste a powerful aphrodisiac. I could stay with my head buried between her legs forever, but even my patience, the resolve and control I'm so proud of, has limits. I eat her like a starving man, my teeth grazing and nibbling while my lips pinch and suck. Her nails dig into my skin, and her heels kick into the mattress. When I lift my eyes, I'm shocked to see she's staring at me, her brown pools drowsed in desire. Soft, feminine pants and moans lash at me as I suck her harder, feeding my addiction for this, for everything she's giving me. A little surprised cry fills the air, and her hips lock. I know what this means. I push down with my palm on her stomach to measure her body's reaction, but it's not necessary. I know exactly at which point she comes. She utters a high note and contracts around my tongue with a tangy explosion of moisture. I want to use her orgasm to drench my cock, to make it slick so I can sink it deep into her body, as deep as she can take me. But for now, I only kiss and lick her clit, prolonging the shockwaves and reveling in her release. Despite my earlier resolution, I'm more than ready to fuck her, but something is holding me back. For some reason, I feel like it's her first time coming. A hot wave of satisfaction and immense anticipation washes over me as I consider the impossible. Valentina is a virgin. And it fucking crushes me. I can't break something that is whole and pure.
I'm inexperienced, not stupid. I know I had an orgasm, but it was my first and I'm devastatingly sad. Ashamed. I gave in to the man who was going to kill my brother. But those hands on my body. I expected force and roughness. Instead, he gave me gentle. It confused the hell out of me. The way his fingers explored my skin soothed me. And when I gave up on my fear, he set me on fire. He knew exactly what to do. There's no doubt he's a skilled and intuitive lover. He touched me like no man ever has, in a way that made my skin come alive. He twisted and primed my body, playing it like an instrument until it gave him the tune he wanted. I thought he was going to rape me. In a way he did. In a way, this is worse. He raped my senses, took my defenses, and left me vulnerable but not yet cold. His arms fold around me, pulling my naked back to his clothed chest. Hot, unwanted tears drip on the pillow. I gave in. I lost. My body betrayed me. Big, hard hands that tortured my nipples into aching points of need, brush over my hips. One arm curls under me, strong fingers locking on my breast, while the other strokes my thigh gently as I battle to get my sobbing under control. Shh, he whispers against my ear. Repeating the same mantra from earlier, he gives me absolution. You didn't have a choice. There are many things I can take, but not his gentleness. I need to hate him. Prying his fingers open, I roll to the edge of the bed and jump to my feet. Get away from me! I jerk my nightgown down my body. His eyes harden, but he doesn't reach for me. With his dark expression on top of the scars, he looks scarier than any man I've seen. Lifting up on one elbow, he says, You should have told me it was your first time. Why can't I feel indifferent? Indifference won't hurt or cut so deep. The ache and betrayal won't let me go. Using that pain, I mold it into a shield of hatred. Loathing infuses my tone. What difference would it have made? There is a warning in his voice. Valentina, I took nothing you didn't promise to give. Exactly, I snap. I promised to give, not to take. His lips lift in one corner, giving him the same amused expression from this morning when he threatened Charlie's life. Give and take? Now that's a debatable subject. The way I look at it, this was all give on your part. I did all the taking. I'm fuming. I expected him to use me, but to do it like Tiny. Instead, he somehow managed to make me a partner in whatever he executed. Are you angry that I made you come? Or that you enjoyed it? He asks, hitting the hammer on the nail. Shivering with fury, mostly at myself, I wrap my arms around my body. Is there something else you want? Any other service you require? He smirks. All in good time. A wince replaces his cocky smile as he gets to his feet. I'll have my breakfast at 5. Grapefruit, orange juice, coffee, and an omelette with chili. Make sure it's ready. Adjusting his pants over a hard-on impossible to miss, he limps from the room. I wait a good 5 minutes after the clack of his heels on the kitchen tiles has disappeared before I shut the door, leaning against it with wobbly legs. My shoulders shake with more unwelcome sobs, but I can't stop them. It takes me a few minutes to find my control. I want to have another shower to wash away the remnants of Gabriel's touch, but a glimpse at my phone tells me it's past midnight. I have to wake in 4 hours. So I slip into bed and give myself over to the escape of a shallow and fitful sleep. It's torture when my alarm goes off at 4. Oscar is stretched out on the foot of the bed, purring like an engine. He must have jumped through the window during the night. I can only spare him a quick cuddle or I'll be late. I put last night out of my mind, making a conscious decision to not dwell on the shameful memory. Torturing myself with the details won't change anything. I'll only make it harder on myself. After a shower, I dress in the morbid black dress and tie my hair into a ponytail. Knowing that I'll be on my feet all day, I slip on my trainers. Half an hour later, I'm in the kitchen, chopping chili for Gabriel's omelette while the coffee percolates. Cooking comes easy for me. I've fed Charlie and myself ever since I was 14. I miss my brother so much. We've never been apart. It feels as if my anchor has been dislodged and I'm floating aimlessly in a dark and treacherous sea. My back is turned to the door, but I know the minute Gabriel walks into the kitchen. I first feel and then smell him. Heat creeps up my spine, making me break out in a cold sweat. The air becomes thick, like smoke hard to breathe. My body registers a scent from where I've categorized it in my brain, connecting the dots to the central experience from last night. An experience I'd rather forget, but I can't help the powerful association. The clean, spicy fragrance of his skin triggers an unwanted reaction in my belly, contracting my womb with a fluttering echo of my first orgasm. My cheeks flame at the thought. I hope he'll think it's from the hot stove plate. Good morning, Valentina. That voice again. Now that I'm less frightened, it leaves a complex mixture of sensory impressions on me. Dark, smooth, bittersweet and deep, like burnt sugar. I glance over my shoulder. He's dressed in a dark suit with a white shirt and red tie. His hair is damp and his beard trimmed. I fold his omelette, doing my best not to let my nerves show. Good morning. He comes to stand next to me, so close that our hips almost touch, and reaches for 2 mugs in the cupboard above. As he pours the coffee with a steady hand, mine, holding the spatula, starts shaking. Sleep well? He pushes one of the mugs towards me, angling the scarred side of his face away. Of course not. Yes, thank you. Have you eaten? Later. We can share the omelette. I can't eat this early. I'd rather die of hunger than share his omelette. It's an illogical thought, since he gives me the allowance that pays for my food, but I have to hold on to whatever pride I can salvage. The doctor emailed your blood test results. You're clean. Our eyes lock when I involuntarily jerk my head in his direction. We both know what this means. As soon as the birth control takes, he'll fuck me. Unless he uses a condom to do it sooner. Before he can say anything else, I serve his omelette on the plate I heated in the warmer drawer and carry it to the dining room. Then I disappear to start my duties for the day, trying not to think about what he said in the kitchen, or that I'd become a maid with benefits. A whore. I quickly get a handle on the house routine. Carly gets up at 6 and leaves the house at 7 without breakfast. Marie comes in at 8, places the grocery orders for the day, and starts preparing lunch. I give her my habitual shopping list. My staple diet consists of instant noodles and apples. Apples are cheap, filling, and nutritious. The noodles give me a boost of energy when my blood sugar levels drop too low. I need the bulk of the money I save for Charlie and my studies. As I make the bed in Gabriel's room, I try not to gawk at his private space, but my curiosity outweighs my manners. Like him, the room is overly masculine. Heavy silver-grey curtains drape the windows, and his furniture is bulky, modern and square. The bed is bigger and longer than a king size. The monogrammed initials on the sheets indicate they're custom-made. The fabric is soft between my fingers. A glance at the label tells me it's a high-thread Egyptian cotton. There are many black and white photos of landscapes and buildings on the wall. The pictures are of foreign places and cities, maybe places he's visited. A walk-in closet connects his bedroom to his private bathroom. The closet is bigger than my room, with suits organized by color and shelves for shoes and ties. Gabriel is painstakingly neat. There are no dirty clothes or towels on the floor. Whatever toiletries he uses are stored in the cupboards. Nothing stands on the shelves, not even a toothbrush. His bathroom tiles are black and white, with a grey border running above the twin basins. The taps and fittings are brass, and it's a bitch to polish them to a shine. I scrub until my nails are chipped, but that's the easy part. The not-so-easy part is trying not to feel the shame of my reaction to him as, even in his physical absence, his lingering presence taunts and torments me, forcing me to remember. Oscar follows me around, keeping me company. By the time the morning deliveries arrive, I'm shaking with hunger. After wolfing down a bowl of noodles and an apple for breakfast, I feel better. Walking into my room for a quick bathroom break, my gaze falls upon a box on the edge of the basin. I pick it up to read the label. Birth control pills. My face is ablaze with heat, even as my stomach turns to ice. I've never used birth control. Never needed it. With a shaky hand, I take out the leaflet and read the instructions. It feels like I'm crossing the last line by accepting the pills. But falling pregnant will be a disaster. And as crazy as it sounds to appreciate any gesture from my captor, I'm thankful to Gabriel for his consideration in this regard. I'm hanging out the laundry when a whistle catches my attention. The driver from yesterday enters through the courtyard door. Morning. He offers me an uncertain smile, eyeing my uniform. How are you? I don't know what to make of his greeting, so I simply say, Fine, thank you. I'm Quincy. I tug a stray strand of hair behind my ear. Hi. When I resume hanging the washing, he cuts the small talk. I came to warn you not to come outside before clearing it with the guardhouse. The guardhouse? We live in a staff house at the back of the estate. There's a phone in the kitchen. If you dial the button marked guardhouse, one of us will pick up. Oh. Next time, if the door is open, he motions at the garden access, call before you come outside. Why? Gabriel keeps a guard dog. He patrols the garden and we've had an accident before. Okay. Well then, have a nice day. He must realize what a stupid thing that is to say, because his cheekbones turn a shade darker. See you later. With an awkward salute, he hurries away. Picking up the empty basket, I notice Marie in front of the kitchen window, watching me. Sometime during the day, Gabriel and Magda must have left, because they're gone when Carly comes home at 5. Judging by her casual clothes and the late hour of her return, she attends a private school. Public schools require uniforms and are out before lunchtime. Marie has already left when Carly finds me ironing in the scullery. Valentina, right? She leans on the wall and bites into a peach. That's right. My dad didn't say he was hiring a maid. She regards me from under her lashes. Can you bake? Yes. Will you bake me a cake for dessert? Marie made flan. I hate flan. I crane my neck to check the time on the wall clock in the kitchen. I need to finish earlier tonight so that I can do my homework, but I can fit something in if it's not too complicated. What do you like? She swings the fruit by the stalk. Anything with coconut. I know a simple recipe for honey and coconut cake that doesn't take too long. The ingredients are common enough. The chances are good I'll find everything I need in the pantry. I switch off the iron. All right. When the base cake comes out of the oven, I pour the melted butter, honey and shredded coconut over the top and caramelize it to a crispy brown under the grill. Carly leans on the kitchen counter as I remove the cake, her blonde hair hanging in a braid down her back. She's a stunning girl. She doesn't take after her father. Her mum must be gorgeous. Carly sniffs appreciatively. That smells good. I'll have a slice now. She's not a child, but I say what I'd say to Charlie. You'll spoil your appetite for dinner. Come on, Valentina, she pouts. My mum never lets me have sweets. It's bad for my figure. She motions at her body on which there isn't an ounce of fat. Daddy will be home any minute now, and I don't want him to know I'm snacking before meals. I'll never hear the end of it. You're a big girl. I push the cake toward her. Don't say it's my fault if you're not hungry for proper food later. Oh, she winks. I won't. She cuts a generous slice and bites into the warm cake, humming her approval. Oh my God, this is so good. I'm glad you like it. I return to my work, happy that I pleased her. Instinct tells me getting on with Carly won't be smooth sailing. 20 minutes later, I'm folding the last of the iron shirts when Gabriel's thunderous voice bursts through the house. Valentina! Oscar scoots off the top of the tumble dryer where he's been sleeping and escapes to my room. I jump, burning my arm on the still hot iron. A second later, Gabriel storms into the kitchen, almost knocking me off my feet as I exit through the scullery door. He grabs my arm, his fingers digging into my flesh. His face is pale, making the red scars stand out more. There's a first aid kit in the pantry, top shelf on the left. Get it and bring it to the television room. Chapter 4. I jump to execute the command, running through every lounge on the ground floor with a big screen in it until I find Gabriel on his knees in front of a couch in what must be the television room. Carly is lying on the couch, panting through an open mouth. Her skin is blotchy and puffy, and the glands in her neck are swollen. The sight shocks me to a standstill, but Gabriel's calm, strong voice commands me. Give me the epinephrine auto-injector. It's a yellow and white box. He loosens his tie and pushes a cushion under Carly's head. I find the box and hand it to him with shaky fingers. Contrary to my trembling hands, his are steady as he opens the box and retrieves the injector. He removes the grey cap and pushes the red tip against Carly's thigh, then counts out loud to 10. When he's done, he checks that the needle is extended and caps it with the protective cover. I'm a vet student, not a doctor. But I know what epinephrine is for, and I know a severe allergic reaction when I see one. There's an underlying panic in Gabriel's steady voice. The ambulance is on its way, honey. Allergy? I force from a tight throat. The only answer I get is his cold, frightening glare. I want to ask what she's allergic to, but the ringtone of a phone cuts me short. A mobile vibrates on the coffee table. Gabriel holds out his palm in silent instruction, his eyes back on his daughter. When I place the phone in his hand, he glances at the screen and answers in a flat tone. The ambulance is on its way. His expression turns hard as he listens to a reply. Yes, I take full responsibility if anything happens to her, and no, now's not the time to threaten me with sole custody. Come over if you want to see for yourself how she is, or wait for us at the hospital, but stop calling every 2 minutes. It's not going to change a damn thing. He cuts the call and dumps the phone on the couch. Before I can get my bearings, the doorbell rings. I run to get it, but the door opens to reveal one of the men from yesterday, the one who shot Puff. He leads 2 paramedics pushing a stretcher inside. A private ambulance is parked in the circular driveway. Where? One of the men asks tersely. Follow me. I lead them to the television room. The medics go inside and shut the door on me. Puff's killer gives me a hard look before he exits the house. While I'm pacing in the corridor, a model pretty woman rounds the corner and stalks my way. Her blonde hair is twisted into a French roll. A white 2-piece suit clings to her body, defining her curves. There's a striking resemblance between her and Carly. Where are they? She asks with regal calmness. I indicate the door. Through there. She opens and slams the door, causing it to shake in the frame. Through the door, I hear the heated tones of an argument, but I can't make out the words. Carly's mum must live close by to be able to get here so fast. Not sure if I should wait or leave, I decide to stick around in case they need me. Why didn't Carly call for me? Maybe she did and I didn't hear. It can't be the cake. Carly would have told me if she's allergic to eggs or honey. It can be a bee sting. The sliding doors to the pool deck are open. Seconds later, the paramedics exit, pushing Carly on the stretcher. Gabriel and the blonde woman walk next to the stretcher, Gabriel's face tense. At the front door, the paramedics stop. Only one of you can accompany us in the ambulance, the older man says. You go. Gabriel drags a hand through his hair. I'll meet you at the hospital. When Gabriel's guard helps the men to lift the stretcher down the stairs, the woman I presume to be Carly's mum turns to Gabriel. I expect you to deal with this. I will, he says tightly. She looks down her nose at me before clacking a path down the stairs to the waiting ambulance. At the bottom, she throws her key to Puff's killer. Rhett, bring my car to the hospital. Rhett glances at Gabriel, who gives a small nod. Carly's mum gets into the back of the ambulance and the door is pulled closed from the inside. As the vehicle pulls off with blaring sirens, Rhett gets into the Mercedes sports model and follows. We are alone in the entrance now, Gabriel and I, and fury replaces the coldness in his eyes. You have a lot to explain. Panic speeds up my breathing. What? The cake. To say I'm shivering in my shoes is an understatement. Oh no, Gabriel. This can't be happening. I'm so sorry. His eyes drill into mine. Why did you do it? I just wanted to make something nice for dessert. Nice? You could have killed her. Or did you know all along? How did you find out? I swear I didn't know. I still don't know. Was it the honey? The eggs? Carly is allergic to coconut. What? My mind is reeling. She specifically asked for it. He looks at me with an expression that stops my heart before sending it into overdrive, the beat pounding in my ears. If you're lying, you'll pay dearly. He grabs my arm with such a strong grip it hurts to the bone. You don't want to know what I do with people who threaten my family, let alone try to kill them. Next time, stick to what's expected of you and leave the menu planning to Marie. He shoves me away and takes his phone from his pocket. I'm hugging myself while he barks out a command into the phone. There's a dark threat in his words. Stay with Valentina until I return. After putting away his phone, he hisses. Be very glad she's not dead. And be even gladder, Magda is at a dinner party tonight. A guard comes jogging up the path, an automatic rifle in his hands. When he reaches the porch, Gabriel says, "Don't let her out, and if Magda returns, don't let her near Valentina." The guard nods, taking up a position by the door. I try to calm my breathing as I meet Gabriel's livid stare. He has all the reason in the world to be angry, and the fact that he doesn't hit me makes me fear him more. It means he has control, and men with control are the most dangerous. Go inside. The words sound like an ice lake cracking. Don't even think about running. The windows and doors are protected with an alarm. I bite my cheek to still my chattering teeth and do as I've been told. I'm scarcely inside when I hear the tires of a car shooting up gravel. Through the lounge window, I see a Jaguar convertible clear the gates. I'm shaking all over when I get to my room. Oscar is my consolation, offering me affection as I sink down on the bed and sit in the dark until my breathing is more normal. As the minutes roll into hours, I try to calm my mind by studying, but I can't concentrate on what I read. 1 hour becomes 2, then 3, 4, and 5. I don't have the courage to shower or change. All I can do is wait for Gabriel and Carly's return. Not able to stand the tension any longer, I take up a post in front of the window in the dining room that overlooks the street side of the property. It's almost 11 before the headlights of a car illuminates the gate. It can be Magda, returning from her dinner party. Relief washes over me when the Jaguar pulls up to the door. A haggard-looking Gabriel gets out and limps around the car to help Carly from the passenger side. With his arm around her shoulders, he leads her up the steps. I rush to meet them at the entrance. "Carly, are you all right?" "She will be," Gabriel says, moving past me. "I kept the dinner warm." "I'm not hungry," Carly says. "You need your strength, honey. Bring it up to Carly's room." He doesn't spare me a glance as they make their way upstairs. I prepare a tray and knock on Carly's door before I enter. Gabriel sits in a chair next to the bed, Carly's hand clasped in his. He turns his scars away from me. "Leave it on the table. We'll serve ourselves." I obey and escape to the false safety of my room. I'm petrified Gabriel won't believe me, but even more terrified that my mistake will cost Charlie's life. "One wrong move," Magda said. I don't get why Carly would do something like this. For an hour, nothing happens. Eventually, my tiredness wins over my anxiety. I have a quick shower and get into bed.
In the solitude of my study, I sit down at my desk to contemplate my options. It's a difficult decision. I watched the playback of the security feed from the cameras in the kitchen. Carly's voice was clear when she asked for a cake with coconut. Valentina told the truth. With a sigh I feel all the way to my bones, I pour a shot of whiskey and down it in one go. I don't understand my daughter. I failed her. There's a gorge so wide between us I'm afraid I'll never bridge it. When the crack started, I can't say. Was it during Carly's toddler years, when I was always absent from home, the family business taking up my days and nights? Is it because Sylvia and I couldn't make things work? If I can pinpoint when it started, maybe I'll find the reason. Carly and I both know there's a problem. We don't acknowledge it because it's easier to skip the drama. If I believed Carly has a better relationship with her mother, I'd encourage her to stay with Sylvia. But she's old enough to choose, and the fact that she lives here tells me enough. Despite being scum, I try to be fair. It's the only shred of humanity that stands between the man and the monster. But in my business, fair only applies to family. Putting any staff member above family, right or wrong, won't be tolerated. Such an act could get said staff member killed. Innocent or not, actions have consequences, and Valentina can't escape taking responsibility for hers. Sylvia expects me to inflict suitable retribution. She's not going to forget or let it go. If I don't do it before Magda comes home, Valentina will die for what happened tonight. I don't feel like punishing Valentina for something Carly should pay for, but I don't have a choice. I refill my glass and shoot back another shot before I pick up my phone and dial Rhett. "Come to my study," I say when he answers. The fact that something ignites in me, making me hard when I think about what I'm about to do, is proof of how far gone I am. It could be that the alcohol is fuel on my rusty inhibitions. Maybe it's hereditary, and it's in my genes. I'm not a made monster. I was born one. The door opens and Red enters. You called for me, boss? Take Valentina to the gym. The twitch that wrings his lips into a smile makes me want to break his nose. I add it to the mistake he made of shooting the dog. Deep down, I know it's not Rhett's fault. He never expected me to let the Haines live. He did what he believed was right, but he caused Valentina suffering, and he'll have to pay. Lucky for him, he leaves without question. I could do with another drink, but I won't risk it. I have to be sober. I'll need utter control. The house is dark and quiet as I make my way downstairs to the basement. It's a windowless room where my guards and I work out, but it also serves as an interrogation room when the need arises. For this reason, it's soundproof. Carly can never know what happens in the depths of the house when she's fast asleep upstairs. Chapter 5. I flick on the lights and walk around the room, trying to still the upsurge of regret that's not powerful enough to wash out my excitement. The exercise mat absorbs my steps, not giving sound to the unequal harshness of my soles. Regret makes me weak. Excitement makes me cruel. Anger makes me dangerous. I assess my state carefully. Anger is not part of my repertoire tonight. That's a good thing, or I wouldn't be able to do this. It would be much too hazardous. Rhett enters the room with Valentina, his hand folded around her upper arm. She's wearing a nightgown, which exposes her toned legs. Rhett's fingers leave white indents on her skin. It shakes up all kinds of sentiments in me, but they're like shredded pieces of paper. I can't make sense of anything, except that I want to chop off his hand and poke out his eyes. With a flick of my head, I direct him to the back wall. He knows what to do. Her eyes hold mine as he drags her past. The quiet kind of anger I often recognize in myself makes the brown of her irises sizzle with sparks. Within seconds, Valentina is strung up by her arms on a rope knotted to her tied wrists, facing the wall. Go, I say to Rhett. He gives me a questioning look. The surprise and disappointment on his face threaten to unleash my rage. I've never dismissed him when punishments or interrogations are executed, but this isn't a goddamn show for his entertainment. Rhett knows me well enough to read the signs. With a last confused glance in Valentina's direction, he walks from the room, shutting the door behind him. When there are just two of us, I breathe easier. The violence dissipates. It becomes something different, something that turns my already erect cock into a raging hard steel rod. I adjust the rope, stretching it gently through the eye in the ceiling until she's barely touching the mat with her toes, and secure the cord to the hook on the wall. I don't want her to struggle or move. It's safer this way. She peeks at me from over her shoulder, her eyes big and her cheeks pale. What are you doing? It's not an easy question. There are many layers to it. I unbutton first one, then the other shirt cuff, rolling the sleeves back as I contemplate the answer. I don't lie if I can prevent it. I decide to give her the simple truth. Punishment. Valentina. I let her name roll over my tongue, loving the sound of it. Such a pretty name. Valence. Strong. It suits her. She twists in her constraints. I didn't do it on purpose. I reach up from behind, grabbing her arms to still her. I know. She stops struggling, and her body freezes. Then why are you doing it? I sweep her silky hair over her shoulder and brush my lips down the curve of her neck. Because I get off on this. Another layer of truth. A sob tears from her throat. Please. My cock twitches. There's begging in that word, but also acceptance. She knows there's no turning back. Even if they weren't Sylvia's expectations or my mother's threat, I can't stop myself. Not anymore. I kiss the shell of her ear. Gabriel. She should call me Sir or Mr. Louw, but the sound of my name on her lips is a treat I'm not going to deny myself. Already battling to carry her weight, she tips back. I catch her around her waist. My hands dip under the hem of her nightgown, gliding up her soft thighs. Hooking my thumbs into the elastic of her underwear, I pull it down over her hips and calves, leaving it around her ankles. She shivers under my palms, but wisely doesn't speak. There's nothing she can say to stop this. When I step away, her body sways backward. Like a ballerina, she dances on her toes to regain her balance. A cry leaves her lips when I grip the collar of her nightgown and rip it down the middle. The fabric hangs loosely down her body, giving me a glimpse of her smooth back and the curve of her ass, but I'm greedy. To save time, I use one of the combat knives from the weapon counter, cutting open the arms to free her from the constraining clothing. I step back to admire the view. Fucking hell. Restrained, with only her panties around her ankles, she's an erotic image that'll haunt my dreams. Her frame is a flowing portrait of S-lines, from the slender curve of her neck to the size of her plump breasts, and the narrow diameter of her waist to the swell of her hips and the rise of her firm ass. My eyes follow the trail of her legs from her quivering thighs to the dip of her knees, and from the gentle expand of her calves to where they taper to her delicate ankles. My fingers ache to bury themselves in the cheeks of her buttocks and in the warm, wet depth of her cunt. I expel those thoughts almost violently, knowing I can't enter her there. For now, I'm content to have her naked and bound, and if I'm honest, I'll admit this isn't about retribution or proving to my mother I'm not weak. This isn't even about saving Valentina's life. This is all for me. I cup her breasts from behind and search the soft sweetness of her skin, dragging my lips down the elegant curve of her neck. If I don't do this, Magda will kill you. She turns her head to the side, away from my caress and voice. So be it. She won't defy me much longer. I can never have my fill of looking at her like this, but her arms can only hold her weight so much longer before I risk tearing them from their sockets. I shake my fingers to loosen them and breathe in and out a couple times to find my control. It'll be easy to go over the edge with her. Too easy. There's something about her that shatters every ounce of willpower I possess. A new experience I'm not sure I like. I loosen my buckle and pull the belt from the loops of my waistband. Only then does she look at me again. Finally, she understands my intention. Her eyes grow large, and her lips part. Eyes in front. I don't mind seeing her tears or hate, but I don't want her to see the lust in mine, the darkness that makes me the monster. Stepping so close I can smell the raspberry fragrance on her skin, I smooth my hand over her ass. When she clenches her muscles, my cock pushes painfully against my zipper. I knead her ass cheeks, playing with the firm softness of her flesh. Parting them, I can glimpse the pretty pucker of her ass. I draw a finger down her crack, teasing the dark entrance before running the tip down to test her pussy. She's dry. Good. I love the challenge. I take a step away, widen my feet, and find my stance. Drawing my arm back, I practice careful control with my strength, letting the leather collide with her ass hard enough to sting, but not forceful enough to bruise. Whack! The red line that welts over her golden skin makes my cock twitch. A drop of pre-cum heats the tip of my shaft. Whack! She cries out softly and jerks in her restraints. She's holding back. Whack! Let me hear you, Valentina. Fire simmers with tears in her brown eyes as she glances back at me. Fuck you! Very well. The next lash falls over her thighs, just under the curve of her ass. She squirms and whimpers, grinding her teeth so hard I can hear it. The next smack is gentler, aimed higher to eat her pussy. Her cry comes involuntarily. She tenses up as the sound escapes. I let the lashes go higher, leaving a criss-cross pattern over her back and shoulders. Allowing the tip of the leather to fold around the sides of her breasts, I keep well away from her nipples. My lashes are not hard enough to draw blood or break skin, but before long she's grappling for air, moving as far away as the position allows, which isn't much. I let the belt curl around her waist, letting her feel the bite on her stomach, and move back down to her ass and thighs. I give her a break to catch her breath, using the time to free her underwear, spread her legs, and tie each ankle to a cuff on a chain extending from the wall. She can move her legs forward or backward, but she can't close them. I walk around to face her. Grabbing her jaw, I kiss her hard. She's crying into my mouth, her lips defenseless as I sweep my tongue over hers, devouring her like a starving man. Forcing myself to pull away, I steal a last chaste kiss before taking my place behind her again. Ready? I test my strength by swinging the leather under the curve of her ass. When her golden skin is left unmarred, I twist the belt one more time around my hand, leaving a shorter bit at the end, and let a succession of soft but fast swats rain between her legs, aiming the leather to heat both her labia and clit. She fights it at first, flinging her head back, and pushes her breasts forward. Let me hear you! I don't stop until she finally breaks for me with a scream. The breath she's been holding escapes, allowing her shoulders to rise and fall with violent sobs. At her surrender, I cast the belt aside and grab her to my body. I want her. I want her so fucking bad I can't think. For all of my intentions to be gentle, I can't help the rough way my fingers feel between her legs. A groan is trapped in my chest when I find her wet. I need to be inside her. Now. My hands shake as I undo my pants and let them fall to my ankles to free my cock. My shaft aches with need, the root pulsing as I grab it in my fist and guide it to Valentina's wet pussy. Bending my knees, I spear through her thighs and drag the head of my cock through her folds. I shiver in anticipation as her moisture slickens me, and the heat emanating from her core invites me deeper. Driven by primal hunger, I place the sensitive head against her opening. My only instinct is to impale her, to take her as deep as I can, but it's her frightened whimper that pulls me back from my dark lust. Barely holding on to reason, I coat my dick in more of her arousal before slipping free from between her legs. I'm too far gone to back off completely, and as much for my sanity as her chastity, I carefully open her ass cheeks and wedge my slick cock between them. "Please," she begs, arching her back away from me. My voice is guttural. I don't recognize the sound. "Relax. I won't fuck you." She stills at that, but only until I start gliding up and down, folding her ass cheeks around my cock with my palms. I have to push her body against the wall in front for leverage. When I move faster, she starts squirming in all earnest, twisting to the left and right. "Keep still," I hiss, "or I'll accidentally penetrate your asshole." Again she goes slack, allowing me to find my release by grinding my cock up and down the crack of her welted ass. I find her breasts and hold her to me as I come, shooting my seed up her spine, the hotness of my release dripping down between our bodies. When there's nothing left to give, I let go, stumbling back a step to look at her. She's marked with the imprint of my belt and my sperm running between her ass cheeks over her pussy and down her thighs. Intense satisfaction surges inside of me, overriding even the physical high of ejaculating on her skin. It's the most beautiful thing I've seen, and that fucking scares me. Coming to my senses, I pull up my pants and unlock the cuffs around her ankles. I loosen the rope from the hook on the wall, releasing her arms. Valentina falls backward, but before she hits the floor, I catch her around the waist and use the same knife I used to cut off her clothes to cut through the rope around her wrists. She's crying and shaking, her body limp in my arms. I use her nightgown to wipe her back and between her legs, getting rid of most of the semen, and then I pick her up in my arms and carry her to her room. Placing her inside the bath, I run a cool shower and sponge her down. She doesn't object to anything. Her pretty eyes are closed, but tears are leaking from under her long lashes, and I have to look away. I find them way too appealing. She's like a rag doll in my arms when I towel her dry, taking care not to press on the marks of my belt. They'll be gone in a day, but she'll hate me much longer. No marks will be left on her body, but not everyone carries their scars on the outside. I put her to bed on her stomach, naked, and don't pull the sheet over her. She'll want nothing to touch her skin for a while. Going down on my knees between her legs, I make her come with my mouth until she begs me to stop. Through her begging, I wring one more orgasm from her before I'm satisfied. Then I get onto the bed next to her and pull her onto my chest so that she's stretched out on top of me. I kiss her head and stroke her hair, holding her until breathing takes on the even rhythm of sleep. It's after midnight. Magda will be home any minute. Valentina doesn't wake up when I ease out from under her. Looking down at her slender back marred with red welts, I'm filled with the devastating affirmation that I can't play with a perfect new toy without breaking it. I wait in my study for Magda to return. I prefer to relay tonight's events to her myself, before she hears the news from Sylvia or Carly. I can still taste Valentina on my lips. Her arousal is a powerful aphrodisiac that twists my balls into rock-hard knots and feeds my lust. There's peace in knowing I own her pleasure, and discord in not being able to take her. Until she's no longer a virgin, I can't bury my cock in her soft body, and I want nothing more than to train her to come with my dick until she gets wet from the mere sight of me. It takes everything I have not to go back to her room and fuck her raw. I drag my tongue over my bottom lip. Savoring Valentina's womanly scent one last time, I pour a drink and down the liquor, drowning the perfume of her skin in alcohol. Magda is pissed as hell when I give her a brief summary of how the night turned out. It's when I assure her Valentina's been punished, and she watches the video feed of Carly asking for a coconut cake that she calms. "You have work with Carly," she says. "That girl has issues." "I know." I rub my eyes. "Do something about it, before it becomes a disaster we can't fix." She walks from my study without saying goodnight. I touch the photo of Carly on my desk, having plenty of questions and no answers.
It feels like Gabriel took something from me. I knew he was dangerous, but I had no idea how dark he is. What Tiny did to me was almost bearable because it never turned me on. What Gabriel did to me last night made me wet, and that makes me sick. I, of all people, should be disgusted by the violence. It wasn't the lashes on my back. It was the intense rhythm of the leather between my legs. I both resented and appreciated that he took care of me, both emotionally and sexually, afterward. It was something I needed desperately, and I hate myself for it. Wanting to hear a kind, safe voice, I call Chris before she's due at the practice and speak to Charlie, who sounds as happy as only Charlie can be. It soothes me enough to get me through my Friday morning chores. My body is sensitive from Gabriel's lashing, and each brush of the rough linen of my dress is abrasive on my skin. Carly is at home today, skipping school to recover, and I do my best not to run into her. I only clean her room when she's outside by the pool. Marie avoids my eyes. If she knows about last night, she doesn't say so. She comes looking for me in the entrance where I'm mopping and fixes her gaze on a spot behind me. Mr. Louw says the towels in the gym need washing. Okay. I mop past her feet. You must take clean ones. Now. She leaves stiffly, hiding her discomfort behind her brusque manner. I fetch a clean pile of towels from the linen closet and make my way down the hallway. As I descend the stairs to the gym, my stomach clenches and my throat closes up. Forcing my feet to move forward, I stop abruptly when the door opens and Rhett exits, blood all over his naked chest. He's pressing his palm to his nose, his head turned up, and almost bumps into me before I have time to jump out of the way. The reason for the blood seems to be a broken nose. The bridge is swollen and the cartilage skew. His right eye sports a shiner, and the skin on his cheekbone is split. When he notices me, he glares and pushes past, making for the stairs. I'm still staring after him when Gabriel walks to the door dressed only in sweatpants and clutching the ends of a towel draped around his neck. His face and chest glistens with perspiration. My face flushes at the memory of last night, and my mouth goes dry. Where I come from, I've seen a lot of gangsters who pump iron in the gym all day, but no one as hard or perfectly cut as Gabriel. His upper arms are the size of my waist. Deep lines define his pecs and abs. A trail of dark hair starts beneath his navel and disappears under the pants. The V of his hips cutting sharply down to his groin. It's not the beauty of his body that renders me speechless, but the power of it. Even with his disability, he stuffed Rhett up badly, and Rhett is a hulk. As he advances, I stand there like an idiot with the towels in my arms, not having words. A smile flirts on his lips. Training, he says with a shrug, grabbing one of the clean towels off the pile to wipe his face. He gives me an intense stare, searching my face. How are you? Fine. Good. Dumping the towel in the basket by the door, he limps away. It's the first time I see him in anything but a dress shirt and suit pants. The broadness of his shoulders and the tightness of his ass doesn't surprise me as much as the way the sight of him half-naked makes my womb flutter. I can't feel desire for a man who tortured me. It will make me as twisted as him. It will drag me down to a place I won't be able to come back from. Angry at my unwelcome reaction, I enter the gym and pack the clean towels on the shelf before picking the dirty ones off the floor. I take my time to do what I haven't done last night, take stock of the room. There's a section with free weights in the corner and a small bathroom off to one side. Judging by the metal rings bolted to the ceiling and the hooks fitted on the walls, this is where Gabriel tortures his enemies. A chill fills my veins, and I'm not going to look any longer. I rush back upstairs, banishing my memories of last night to the depths of the gym. In the lounge, I run into Carly. She props a hand on her hip. Hey, Valentina. I can't ignore her without being rude. How are you feeling? She cocks a shoulder. I'll be fine. Why did you do it? To get you fired? I don't know if she knows what her dad does for a living, but if she doesn't, it's not my place to disillusion her. I can't tell her I'm here against my will, especially not after Magda's threat to kill Charlie and me for one wrong word. All I can ask is, why? I saw the way my father looked at you at dinner. What way? A way he's never looked at my mum. It's the money, isn't it? She gives me a wry smile. It's always the money. Well, plenty of others before you tried, and it always ends the same way. He won't marry you, and you won't get a cent, so save us all the trouble and pack your bags now. Yes, it's the money, but it's not how you think. I can't give up this job even if I wanted to. You don't belong here. I want you gone. So badly that you'll endanger your life? I ask with a note of anger. Oh, come on. Why are you so upset? It didn't work, did it? You're still here. I have every reason to be upset. What you did was foolish and irresponsible. What's your problem? You're acting like you're the one who almost died. My problem is that if you had died, I would have carried your death on my conscience for the rest of my life. Have you considered that? Who do you think you are to speak to me like this? Is it the attention? Is that the only way you can get your parents to show you they care? She draws back her arm and lashes out. Her palm connects with my cheek, leaving a burning sting. You know nothing about me! In that moment, her guard is down, and a vulnerable part peeks out from under her bitchy veneer. I cup my cheek, pressing a cool palm on my heated skin. The fight goes out of me, as I only feel pity for the poor rich girl who, underneath it all, is just a girl. I sigh. Listen to me, Carly. You're young, beautiful, privileged and healthy. You have your whole future ahead of you. You can have anything you want. It's more than most people get. Don't waste it. Even if you don't see it now, your parents would have been devastated if anything had happened to you, and I would never have forgiven myself. Yeah? Tears glisten in her eyes. Like you know me or my family. Don't you dare preach to me. Maybe you would have liked to be a psychologist, but you're not. You're a maid, so stick to your trade. Her eyes turn hard. I'll be outside. Bring me a turkey sandwich and lemonade, plenty of ice. When you're done, you can clean my bathroom again. You missed a spot. Then you can iron my new blue dress. I want to wear it to school tomorrow. I want to say I don't answer to her, but that's not true. By the rules of our kind, I'm lower on the hierarchy than the cat. That afternoon, Carly doesn't touch her lunch. It's a delicious-looking lasagna, but she's not to be persuaded to take a bite. Magda and Gabriel treat her with kid gloves. Gabriel goes out of his way to drag a conversation out of her, but gives up after a while. After clearing the table, I salvage the portion from Carly's plate and set it aside to eat later. The rest I scrape into a plastic container I store in the staff fridge for the street dogs. I hate wasting, and I'm famished, hungry for something other than apples and noodles. I'm sure no one will mind if I eat a leftover portion destined for the trash can. During my lunch break, I put a cushion from the patio chair on the deck steps and make myself as comfortable as I can on my bruised butt. Then I dig in. The lasagna is rich with white sauce and cheese, the meat dripping with fresh tomato and oregano. I close my eyes as I chew, savouring every bite. Marie knows how to cook. I'm almost finished when barking draws my attention. Quincy stands at the edge of the pool with a vicious-looking bulbul. The beast is straining on the leash, baring his teeth. Quincy jerks on the chain. Quiet! The barking stops, but the dog still growls at me, his lips pulled back over his teeth. What the hell are you doing outside? I told you to call. You shouldn't be in the garden when the dog is out. Quincy takes a few steps towards me, but stops a safe distance away. I told Marie I was taking him for a walk. I guess she forgot to tell me. I'll have a word with her. With a tight nod, he continues on his way, the dog hopping along on 3 legs. What's wrong with his paw? I call after them. He pauses. I don't know. I'm taking him to the vet tomorrow. It looks painful. I leave the plate on the step and get to my feet. Quincy looks mildly surprised when I approach, but when I'm almost within reach of the leash, he holds up a palm. Don't come closer. The dog goes ballistic, barking and straining towards me. Down, boy, I say in a stern voice. The dog reacts immediately. He stops barking and sits down. That's better. As I reach for the dog, Quincy looks like he's going to have a heart attack. Valentina, stay... His words are cut short when the beast flops down on his side and turns on his back, all 4 legs in the air. I go down on my haunches to stroke his belly. That's a good boy. It's not polite to make so much noise for nothing. Quincy stares at me, his mouth agape. How did you do that? No one is able to touch him but me, and I've trained with him for over a year. I have a thing with animals. You don't say. Smiling at the surprise in his tone, I look up at him. What's his name? Bruno. Of course it is. Can I have a look at his paw? He squints at me. If he'll let you. Taking the injured paw in my hand, I study the pad. A broken thorn is lodged in the flesh. The poor baby must be suffering. It's a thorn. I pointed out to Quincy. Do you have a pair of tweezers? No. He thinks for a bit. Wait, maybe this'll do. He pulls a Swiss Army knife from his pocket and unfolds a small pair of tweezers. Perfect. Taking the knife, I scratch Bruno's ear. I'm going to make it better. It takes a second to extract the thorn. The area around the wound is inflamed. Handing the knife back to Quincy, I ask, how long has he been like this? He's been limping all week. I couldn't get an appointment at the vet sooner. You'll still have to take him. I straighten. He needs an antibacterial and anti-inflammatory cream. He tilts his head. How come you know all this stuff? An interest. Bruno rolls back onto his paws and licks my toes. No shit. Quincy shoots me a smile. Thanks for your help. He wouldn't let me touch that paw. Don't mention it. I'm not sure Gabriel's going to be happy when he learns you turned his guard dog into a drooling puppy. It'll be our secret. As far as the rest of the world is concerned, Bruno is a vicious guardian. He whistles through his teeth. Come on, Bruno. Time to finish your walk. He salutes and walks off with Bruno in the direction of the orchard. My homework is falling behind. I have an essay to finish before Friday next week, but I'm too exhausted to read further than 1 page. With what happened last night, I didn't get much sleep. I have to meet my study deadlines. I won't give up. I can't. It's not only my dream that keeps me motivated. It's knowing that I'll have something to fall back onto when I'm free. Charlie and I will need an income. We're not going back to Berea. I have to build a better future for us, and Gabriel Louw isn't taking that away. I take a cool shower, still feeling the sting of the water on my back and butt. Since the only nightgown I owned is destroyed, I pull on a t-shirt and a pair of panties before slipping into bed. Like the first night, Gabriel comes to me when I'm sleeping. I'm not sure if it's the way he softly cups my breasts or the sound of my moan that wakes me, but I'm too tired to fight it. I simply let him hear what his touch does to me. I'm rewarded with a kiss on the mouth, startling me to a fully awake state. It's nothing more than a brush of his lips over mine, but the intensity burns like a fire, and I find it pleasurable. His mouth is cool and dry, and his breath smells of mint and alcohol, like whiskey. Warm air blows over my ear as his lips graze the shell. Turn over for me, Valentina. He lifts the sheet for me to make it easier, but my feet get tangled in the duvet at the foot. Carefully, he frees each foot, stopping to caress the bridge before planting a kiss on the sole. The tender act confuses me. I expected him to hurt me like last night, not to trail his hands gently up my body and twist my hair into a ponytail before arranging it on the pillow next to me. Maybe he will. My body tenses. Gabriel is anything but predictable. He lifts my arms and, bending them by the elbows, he puts my hands above my head. A tap on my inner thigh makes me lift my head to look at him, but he cups my neck and with the slightest pressure pushes my face back into the pillow. He taps on my thigh again. Understanding the cue, I open my legs. The mattress dips as he gets onto the bed behind me. He doesn't undress me, but pushes the t-shirt up to my shoulders and pulls the panties down to the undercurve of my butt. Heat drenches my skin as he stretches out on top of me without touching our bodies together. Keeping his weight on his arms, he flicks his tongue over a welt on my shoulder, making my nerve endings pop with electricity. Goosebumps break out on my skin when he blows air over the wet trail of his tongue. He continues down my body, treating each lash with the same care until he reaches the dimples of my ass. As he licks and blows over my ass cheeks, moisture gathers between my legs. This goes on for a long time, until my clit is swollen and pulsing in need. The first time he lays his hands on me after kissing my bruises is to remove my underwear. Gripping my hips, he lifts my ass. He takes his time to position me like he wants, kneeling with my legs spread and my forehead resting on the pillow. With my ass and sex exposed to him, he sits back and watches. I can't see, but I can feel his eyes on my body, burning on my naked parts. His palms glide over my buttocks before he takes a cheek in each hand, parting me like fruit, while running his nose from my coccyx to my opening. A shiver runs through my organs. My depraved body knows what's coming and wants it. His tongue flattens on my clit, warm and wet. I cry out as the raspy hot surface draws over my slit, all the way to my asshole. Somewhere in the back of my mind there's a cry of embarrassment, but it's no use giving rein to the sentiment. Gabriel will do what he wants. He continues to lap me like this until I'm desperate to come. Unable to stand the slow torture any longer, I moan loudly into the pillow. He hums his approval, and finally he gives me what I want. Catching my clit gently between his teeth, he flicks his tongue over the nub, fast but too light. My hands fist into the sheets. Oh, God, please. Please what? Please make me come. As soon as I verbally express my need, he opens me wider with his hands and nips at my folds, alternating the gentle bites with sucking on my clit. It takes me seconds to come with a violent spasm of my womb. Pins and needles prick my genitals. My toes curl. I can't take more. Stop, please. Begging doesn't help. He milks me dry until I'm a quivering mess, and only then does he push on my back to lower my pelvis to the bed. I'm shaking and boneless. I never thought it could be like this. He lowers over me, at last pressing our bodies together, until my trembling stops. With a kiss on my neck, he lifts from the bed. I turn on my side to look at him, some part of me needing to see his expression, but he turns his face away. He taps his fingers on my lower back. Go back to sleep. Then he's gone. For a long time, I lie in the dark, trying to understand Gabriel. I don't get it. What is he doing to me?
It doesn't help that Valentina is around every hour of every day. I'm a walking hard-on, suffering from constant blue balls. No amount of wanking is enough to relieve my ache. I want inside her, deep enough to hurt. The only niggle is her virginity. It's a barrier to me, literally and psychologically. I don't want to be the one to break her that way. Her first time needs to be special, not monstrous. Even I am not that cruel. She deserves a pretty face and gentle kisses, not a Scarface who loves to fuck rough. In this lies the problem. I can't take her virginity, and I can't stomach the thought of someone else taking it either. I won't last much longer without relief. I consider calling Helga, but when I think of another woman, I can't get it up. The image of Valentina's strung-up body with her underwear around her ankles haunts my nights. I wish I'd taken a photo so I'd have something concrete to jack off to. The emergency with Carly is further fuel on my nerves. I'm not sure if I should punish her or call in professional help. I'm not a great moral example. I have no ground to judge or discipline her. If there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that Carly won't live the life I lead. My mother never gave me the choice. She put a gun in my hand when I was 12 and told me to pull the trigger. When I couldn't, she shot me in the foot. There's no point in talking to Sylvia. Sylvia's way too much like Magda. God knows why I ever thought we had a chance. I loved her. I truly did. I believed she'd learn to love me with time. But the only thing that became clear with time was her ambition. What she wanted was my money and protection, not my love. She married me on her father's orders and got out as fast as she could as soon as she produced the heir expected of her. Her sacrifice got her what she wanted. As the mother of my child, she'll always have my money and protection. After Carly, she insisted on a hysterectomy, ensuring she wouldn't bear me any more children. Sylvia hated every minute of being pregnant. She was devastated when the doctor confirmed the results of the pregnancy test. Carly stretched and scarred her body. Sylvia never forgave me for that. The minute Carly was born, Sylvia went on a diet and a binge of plastic surgery, letting the nanny take care of our child. Maybe Carly subconsciously felt the rejection. She was a colicky baby. She's never been an easy child, but she's my daughter, and the only human being I love in this world. I wish I knew how to fix this. Magda's high-pitched voice and fast-slapping heels on the marble floor in the foyer pulls me from my troubles. An itch works its way down my shoulder blades.
That's it! I've had it!
I pull the door open to see Magda charge down the hallway with Oscar. She's got him by the skin of his neck. What's going on? I barely hide the irritation in my voice. She doesn't stop in her stride, but calls over her shoulder.
He peed on my Louis Vuitton sofa. Quincy, get your ass over here!
Quincy rounds the corner, a question on his face.
Here.
Magda pushes the clawing cat into his arms.
Take him to the vet and have him euthanized.
I'm about to tell my mother she's overreacting when Valentina flies from the lounge, a cloth and spray bottle in her hands.
Oh, no, please, Mrs. Louw. You don't have to do that. It's not his fault. It may be a urinary infection. I'm sure antibiotics will fix the problem in no time.
Magda turns on Valentina.
What makes you the goddamn expert?
She's got a point, Quincy says. The fact that he puts himself between Valentina and my mother isn't lost on me. I don't like it. Not one fucking bit.
I'm heading out to the vet with Bruno anyway, Quincy continues. I can take Oscar. I'm not spending another cent on this fur pollution. He's just signed his death warrant.
That figures. My mother never harbored any love for my late grandmother's overweight cat. If it was up to her, she would have abandoned him at my grandmother's house after the funeral, but Carly insisted we bring him here.
I'll take him, Valentina says quickly. I mean to the vet. You don't have to pay anything, I promise.
I lean in the doorframe, enjoying Magda's irritation. It was Grandma's cat, after all, I drawl. My mother shoots me a dirty look.
Fine, she says to Valentina. If you've got money to waste, do as you please. But if he pees in the house one more time, he's dead. I can take him on Sunday when it's my day off.
Today or never, Magda says, marching to her study and slamming the door. Valentina looks at me. There's a plea on her face. I haven't missed how Oscar follows her around or that he sleeps in her bed. She's fond of the shedding fluff ball. You can take an hour this afternoon, I say. Her face lights up, and a smile transforms her features into something angelic, something too good for me. I take it anyway, enjoying the knowledge that I put that expression on her face, giving her something more than physical pleasure.
I'll drive you,
Quincy says. Immediately, my good mood evaporates. Dark, suffocating jealousy smothers my reason. My bodyguard may mean the gesture in the most platonic way possible, but I want to break every single one of his ribs. The only thing that prevents me from kicking the life out of him is that Valentina doesn't see the way his eyes soften as he drags them over her, because she's looking at me. She's looking at me for permission. The submissive act somewhat calms me. I don't manage more than a nod.
Thank you,
she says, her gaze wary, as if she's reading the change in my temper. I'll be watching Quincy from now on.
The vet bill eats a hole into my allowance. Money I was going to use for my studies, but the tests are done, and Oscar has medicine. It's a urinary infection, as I thought. The vet assures me he'll be back to normal in a couple of days. It was my plan to take him to Chris on the weekend. She would have treated him for free, but I couldn't risk his life, and I don't doubt for a second Magda would have put him down. To play it safe, I lock him in my room with his litter tray and food, waiting for the frequent urination to stop. When I get to my room that night, there's a bundle of colourful silk tied with a ribbon on my bed, and a note tucked underneath. Curious, I pick up the piece of paper. The handwriting is neat and square. Shave your pussy. Gabriel is the most warped man I know. Flinging the note aside, I pull the ribbon off to reveal 7 nightgowns in red, navy, white, pink, baby blue, black, and cherry plum, all with lace and ribbon trimmings. Did he get me new nightgowns because he destroyed mine, or are the sinfully sexy sleepwear something that turns him on? I should be studying, but I can't stop thinking about the note. There will be repercussions if I disobey. In the shower, I trim and shave my pubic hair. It's a surprisingly lengthy task. After moisturizing my body, I pull on the navy nightgown, which is the least revealing, and sit down on the bed to wait. It doesn't take long before I hear footsteps in the kitchen. Oscar, who sleeps on my bed, twitches his ears but doesn't move. Gabriel's tall frame appears in the doorway. With the backlight from the scullery, his face is in the dark. I can't make out his expression. He flicks on the light and enters the room with slow but purposeful steps. He's a man who always knows what he's doing and who always has a reason for his actions. His gaze slides over me from top to bottom, but there's nothing of Tiny's lustful need for a quick fix in his eyes. They're filled with questions as he runs his fingertips down my arm from my shoulder to my hand. There's a crazy moment when I almost trust him with my body, that I almost surrender my mind. It's like being in a car with a good driver, knowing that you'll end up safely at your destination. I must be going nuts. It's the endorphins my body releases when he touches me. Purely hormonal, biological. Gabriel is a sadist, and he made me a whore, and I can never trust him. He slides a finger under the strap of the nightgown. It looks good on you. Thank you, I say awkwardly. You didn't have to. Yes, I did. He lifts Oscar from the covers and puts him in his cat bed in the corner. He doesn't need to see this. I'm not sure if he's joking or serious, but the insinuation behind his words make my underwear damp. I don't want this reaction, but I'm helpless to stop my body from wanting what he gives. He drums his fingers on my wrist. Whatever is going through his mind, he is giving it deep thought. Finally, he breaks the silence with a single command. Undress. I can fight and argue, cry and plead, but it won't make a difference. It never does to men like him. Sitting up, I take the hem of the nightgown and pull it over my head. My underwear follows next. I don't want to drag it out. The quicker we get this over with, the quicker I can go back to pretending I don't want him to touch me like this. Gabriel doesn't hide his arousal from me. He's comfortable with it, like he is with his body and clothes. His erection strains under the fabric of his pants, but he doesn't touch it or go for his zipper. He tucks my hair over my shoulders with a gentle brush and continues with his orders. On your knees and open your legs. Heat creeps up my neck as I take the posture that opens me up for his gaze. But I lift my chin and face him squarely. I won't surrender to my shame, not with him in the room. For a long moment, his eyes fix between my thighs, seemingly pleased that I obeyed his order to shave. He tests the weight of my breasts, sending an uncontainable shiver over my skin. I can't prevent my nipples from hardening. Shoulders back, tits forward. I give him what he wants, and wait. A rare smile tugs at his lips. You're so brave, Valentina. Without warning, his hand slips between my legs. He cups a broad palm over my sex. I love your cunt, bear. Do you know what I want to do to you? He doesn't wait for my answer, but flicks the forefinger of his free hand left and right over the tip of my breast. The movement is firm and fast and makes my already heavy breast turn even more swollen. While he's toying with my nipple, he pushes his middle finger against the opening of my vagina. He doesn't penetrate me, but runs the tip of his finger up and down my slit. The rasp of the rough skin of his pad feels more intense on my shaved skin. Strangely, his touch on my breast echoes in my clit. The nub between my folds swells and throbs with aching need. Wetness coats his finger. I can feel the moisture as he slickens the outer walls of my opening with my arousal. Determined not to give him a sound, I gasp nevertheless when he grips my nipple between his thumb and forefinger with a pinch. Satisfaction bleeds into his expression. For some reason, he's happy with my reaction. He's happy that he has this effect on me. Another cry leaves my lips as he rolls my nipple. "Valentina," he says with a moan, "you're everything I want." Alternating between pinching and rolling my nipple, he works my body into a state of desperate need. The bite of pain followed by the softer caress is too much to bear. No man has ever touched me like this. There is so much wetness his hand is covered. It takes everything I have not to grind into his palm. I don't have to. He presses the pad of his thumb down on my clit, massaging in circular movements. His deft fingers abandon my tormented breast to start working on the other one. When he gives the curve of a soft smack on the side, making it bounce, a gush of liquid heat spills from my body and coats his fingers. His eyes widen and his pupils dilate. "You like that?" My lips part, and sounds I don't want to make tumble from my mouth. Nerve endings in my lower body spark with electricity, and an invisible band of fire draws tight around my womb. It implodes, drawing all my feminine parts tight into my core before it snaps and explodes from my clit outwards. All the while, I watch his face. I hold his eyes as much as he holds mine. For the briefest of moments, he's exposed, and I understand why he's enjoying this. My pleasure gives him power. With a hand on my back, he presses my upper body to his chest while he holds my sex in hand, applying gentle but unyielding pressure to my clit, while aftershocks from my orgasm rack my body. I shake in his hold, my energy spent and my pleasure his. Only when my body turns quiet does he stop his assault on my clit. He keeps his hand between my legs still while he brushes a broad palm over my hair and down my neck. His lips are warm and dry as he plants kisses from the arch of my neck down to my shoulder. His breath is a mist of heat on my skin. His erection is a steel rod that presses against my stomach from the difference in height with him standing and me on my knees, but he doesn't pay it any attention. Slowly, he pushes me back on the mattress and straightens my legs. Kneeling on the floor between my legs, he kisses first my clit and then my folds, running his tongue over the wetness and lapping it up until I'm only wet from his tongue, but no longer slick. When he finally gets back on his feet, he wipes his mouth on the back of his hand. A flush burns on my cheeks. He smirks and bends over me to plant a firm kiss on the corner of my mouth. My scent is musky on him. He continues to plant kisses down my body, turning rougher. I'm still soaring from my orgasm when he starts nipping at my nipples and pinching my clit. It takes him a long time to bring my body to a quick but intense second orgasm. His roughness, in contrast to the first orgasm, feels like punishment, but I can't think of a single reason why. His house is spotless, and I stay away from the kitchen. By the time he's done with me, he's panting as hard as I am. He doesn't angle his face away from me like I'm used to, but pulls me into a sitting position on the edge of the bed while his hands go for his pants. The air squeezes out of my lungs. He's going to fuck my mouth. Chapter 6. Visions of me on my knees in the middle of the road for anyone to see makes my throat tight. I close my eyes, trying to visualize a black hole in space, anything so I can escape into a dark corner of my mind. "Open your eyes," Gabriel commands. I obey. I don't have a choice. "Unzip me." He has undone the button of his pants. A trail of hair peeks out from under the open flaps. My hands shake as I pull down the zipper. I'm on eye level with his crotch, and he's towering over me. The difference in strength between us chokes me. He can easily make me swallow him, and there will be nothing I can do. Take me out. His voice is quiet and calm. There's nothing threatening about it. Slowly, I push the elastic of his briefs down his hips to free his erection. He's impossibly big. Free from its constraints, his cock twitches and hardens more. The crest is broad and smooth. Manly veins run over the thick shaft to where the root is cushioned by heavy balls. He doesn't grab my hair and force himself into my mouth, but simply stands there, watching me as I study his cock. I have never seen one from close up. I've had tinies down my throat, but I deliberately never looked at it. Gabriel's is beautiful, a work of art. He doesn't object when I slide a finger over his length from the bottom to the top, so I carry on with my exploration, caressing the velvety head. I'm rewarded with a drop of moisture that spills from the slit. In response, liquid heat gathers between my legs, even if I've just had 2 orgasms. When I wrap my fingers around him, he groans, loudly. He's not afraid to let me see the power I have. The deep lines that cut from his hips to his groin fascinate me. I abandon his cock to trace them with my fingers, surprised at how hard the muscle is underneath. A white scar runs across his hip, covering bone and flesh. He grits his teeth when I trace it, but doesn't say anything. His cock jerks when I run my hands down to his inner thighs and cup his balls. They're soft and heavy, contracting in my palm. "Valentina," he moans. "Suck me already or zip me up." He's giving me a choice. Emotion clogs up my chest. I swallow and look up to catch his expression. He's looking down at me with something like hope and acceptance. He'll take whatever I'm prepared to give. He strokes my hair, his big hand cupping the back of my head. "Take only what you want." At the verbal confirmation, my fear vanishes. He'll let me stop. He won't hold it against me. I lick my lips to moisten them, uncertain how to proceed. I've never done this without force. "However you want," he whispers. "There's no right or wrong way." I inch to the edge of the bed, taking his cock in both hands. Holding him close to my mouth, I flick out my tongue to taste him. A strangled grunt escapes when I lick over the crest. He tastes of earth and sea, a mixture of fertile soil and salty air, and I love it. I lick down to the base to see if it's the same, and when I suck a testicle into my mouth, the heady taste intensifies. Fuck. God damn it. He threads his fingers through my hair, but he doesn't pull. He's holding on to me for support as I take his control. The knowledge gives me more power, and it makes me brave. I slicken the whole shaft with my tongue, using my saliva as a lubricant for my hands. I grip his girth firmly, one hand above the other, and move my fists down while pushing my lips over him. Oh, fuck. Air wheezes through his teeth. Yes. I suck him into my mouth, hollowing my cheeks and running my tongue over the head. He buries his fingers deeper into my hair. Yes, beautiful. Just like that. When I glide my hands up and down his length where my mouth doesn't reach, he grows even thicker in my mouth. His hold on my hair tightens and his ass clenches. Pull out if you don't want to swallow. I don't want to give my power away yet. He's letting me do what I want with him, and his cock is jerking in my mouth. He's close. I want to take him all the way. There's agony in his eyes. I recognize the look, know the depth of that kind of pleasure. I felt it at his hands, lips, tongue, and teeth. I open my throat and take him deep, breathing through my nose. His jaw clenches as he grunts out his pleasure while warm jets coat my tongue. He holds my head in the gentle vice of his palms as he empties himself. Keeping his hips still, he lets me suck him dry rather than moving between my lips. I take every drop like I earned it, drinking down the dizzying cocktail of male ecstasy and feminine power. Looking spent, he bends over and leans our foreheads together while he catches his breath. I'm still floating on a cloud of warm satisfaction knowing I pleased a man like him. when he tilts my head and crushes our lips together. He kisses me fiercely, tangling our tongues and sucking my bottom lip into his mouth. When he finally lets go, I'm breathless. His eyes crinkle in the corners. You taste good with my cum on your tongue. A wave of heat creeps up my neck and spreads to my cheeks. He chuckles and kisses my forehead. Zip me up. I bend to pull up his underpants and pants. There are more scars on his leg, but I don't linger there. For now, I'm concentrating on adjusting the clothes over his cock. He's still semi-hard. The velvet feel of his warm skin is pleasantly erotic. He catches my hand and moves it away, finishing the task of zipping his pants up himself. He plants a warm, wet kiss on my mouth and pushes me down to the mattress with a hand wrapped around my neck. For a second, he stays like that, watching me, and then he lets go. Not yet, he says, as if to himself. Good night, Valentina. Then, like last night, he's gone. It's 10 when I go up to Gabriel's room to make his bed. By now, he'd had finished his morning workout and shower. He'd be working in his study. As I'm pulling the sheets over the mattress, the bathroom door opens and he steps out with a towel tied around his waist, his hair wet and droplets running down his chest. I gulp and almost choke on my saliva. Heat gathers in my underwear as my imagination completes the picture hidden under the towel. A slow smile spreads over his face. He twists his head, hiding the scars from me, and walks to the dressing room. Shall I make the bed? I ask in a small voice. He turns to watch me, letting his eyes slide over my dress, making me feel naked. Unless you have other ideas? His smile broadens as a flush heats my cheeks. I clear my throat. I meant I could come back later. He drops the towel, flashing me with a full frontal of his glorious naked body. There's nothing you haven't seen, he says, so don't let me keep you from your work. He's wrong. The white embossed line running diagonally across his knee is new to me. So is the circular mark surrounded by finer lines like a spider's web on his foot. He looks like a perfect Frankenstein specimen, angrily stitched together and magnificently hard. There's not an inch of him that's not 100% man, in every right and every wrong way possible. For an utterly embarrassing moment, I'm frozen to the spot, staring at him like an idiot. It's Gabriel who breaks the spell by walking to a rack of shirts. His ass looks like it's chiseled from marble. My breath flutters as I force my eyes away and continue the task of making his bed. All the while, I'm aware of him. He pulls on a white shirt and buttons it up. Next follow briefs, black slacks, and silver tie. He sits down on a stool to pull on socks and expensive-looking shoes. He opens a drawer and selects a pair of cufflinks, which he fits without difficulty. I've never watched a man's grooming. There's something intimate about it. It's like a privilege he's given me, allowing me to watch. All dressed up, he leaves the room, trailing his palm over my backside on his way out. The caress is so light, maybe I imagined it. Alone, with no one to see, I fluff out his pillow and push my face into it. I inhale his scent, remembering the taste of him in my mouth. What is it like to be a woman in his world, treasured and respected, and not a maid or sex toy? We're worlds apart, and our worlds don't mix. For the remainder of the day, I keep a watchful eye on Oscar. His frequent urination stops in the late afternoon. It's safe to let him out of my room. Besides, he can't stay here all weekend when I leave. Gabriel is out when my weekly shift comes to an end. I'm nervous to leave the grounds, even if Magda was clear on the rules, but I'm also anxious to see Charlie and Chris. I shove a change of clothes and the container of food remains into a grocery bag and check that Oscar has enough food before I go. Outside, I find Rhett on the porch. Hi. I clutch the bag in my hands. I'm off until Monday. I know. I'll need the new key to my flat. You're going back there? I need to tie up loose ends. Wait here. He disappears inside and exits a short while later with a set of keys he places in my hand. The big ones for the main lock, and the two small ones for the top and bottom deadlocks. Thank you. Are you going there now? Probably tomorrow. I'm first going to see my brother. I also want to visit Puff's grave. Where did you bury Puff? You don't want to know. I want to put flowers on his grave. You don't want to put shit out there. In fact, I'm not sure you should go anywhere near that neighborhood. From the look he gives me, I'm scared he's going to prevent me from leaving, so I say quickly, "See you Monday." He doesn't reply, but doesn't stop me either. When he presses a code on his phone that opens the gate, I rush through with relief. There are no public buses in this area, but if I walk far enough, I'll eventually hit the off-ramp to the highway, where I can catch a minivan taxi. I flag one down after a 50-minute walk. I'm the only white girl in the van and receive nasty remarks about the colour of my skin from the other passengers. But the driver is kind, and he lets me sit up front until he drops me off in Orange Grove. A Jewish community mostly populates the area because of the synagogue. In Rocky Street, I pause to feed the food remains to the street dogs before hurrying the last 2 blocks to Chris's house. I enter through the adjoining clinic. A few clients are waiting in the reception area. Chris runs an honest-to-God good practice for the love of it. She charges way less than what she should, and I know she treats a lot of animals for free when the clients can't afford the medicine or consultations. She barely makes ends meet, and I feel bad for saddling her with my problems, but I have no one else. There's no assistant. She hasn't replaced me yet. I knock on the consultation room door and push it open. Chris lifts her gaze from a Yorkshire Terrier and shoots me a smile. "Get me a vaccine shot while you're here, will you?" I scrub my hands in the basin and enter the small back room where she keeps the vaccines. She's in over her head, so I stick around and help out where I can. After 7, she pats my shoulder and jerks her head towards the door. "Go on. Charlie's in the house. I know you're anxious to see him." "Thank you." I offer her a grateful smile and hurry through the back to the house. Charlie sits in front of the television in the lounge, wearing a Superman t-shirt and shorts, his fringe falling into his eyes. When he sees me, his eyes light up. Val! He jumps up and grabs me in a hug, almost crushing my ribs. Sometimes he forgets his strength. "Hey!" I brush the hair from his face. "How are you? Is Chris taking good care of you?" Look! He points at a stack of comic books on the coffee table. Chris gave me money to exchange them. That's great.